This dude is our main character. I mean the guy crying his eyes out behind that handsome fellow over there. See, right after our MC kicked the bucket, the game world merged with reality. Monsters and dungeons just started appearing out of nowhere, and only the gamers were able to awaken. Our main character's ability actually turned into a second personality, one based on a character he created back in high school. To make this character super handsome and cool, he he racked his brain to cram so many wild, mind-blowing ideas into him. Handsome, totally ripped, with a six-pack, cold, aristocratic, and most of all, a combat genius. And of course, a whole bunch of bizarre, edgy personality traits that he came up with back then. But anyway, no more dilly-dallying. Let's get right into it. Inside the room, Hoion was startled as he stared at his current appearance. He was so utterly confused. Who on earth is this? The man in the mirror had platinum blonde hair. Instinctively, Hoion tried to picture his own face. What was my name again? He wondered, struggling to face his new reality. He still had no idea what was going on. Sweat slowly trickled down Li Hoion's face, while the unfamiliar reflection in the mirror spoke, Raphael Claudia Abes Romeo, the heir of a prestigious family. Damn it. Inside the room, Hoion decided to have a cup of tea to calm his nerves, tiredly pouring the tea into a cup. Sipping the hot tea with elegant grace, Hoion recalled everything, his eyes growing thoughtful. He remembered his past self. It seems I've become the character I created 12 years ago, back when I was in my second year of high school. Yes, my sophomore year exactly. Back then, Hoion was pretty rebellious. He didn't care about studying at all, constantly doodling in his textbooks. Looking at the character he had just created, he felt so excited. It's finally finished. My other noble self. Thinking about this, Hoion sank into despair. It was a character he had created during his edgy, rebellious phase. And ending up in this mess was all because of that game. When the continent's history first launched, various species of dragons soared through the skies. It was one of the greatest virtual reality fantasy games ever made. Until the day it shut down, no other game could ever surpass it, making it a legendary masterpiece. But on the day AR Channel ceased service, reporters were broadcasting the news about the legendary online game, the continent's history shutting down. The CEO of Cosmo, the creator of the game, had gone missing. That was when everything slowly began to unravel. Along with the news of CEO Raymond's sudden disappearance, the world plunged into absolute chaos with massive explosions erupting everywhere. AR Channel manifested in the real world. Portals opened up across the globe, and monsters from the game began to pour out. Just when everyone thought the world was coming to an end, humanity was synchronized with their in-game characters. This was when the players emerged. Not only could they use their game skills, they could also use them to defeat the monsters and save the world. Players quickly became heroes. Of course, a guy like me shouldn't even dream of becoming one. But then I realized even if I did awaken my powers, I could never become that famous anyway. Hoion sighed, looking back at his dark room. The cost to buy a virtual reality login device was 10 million gold, and even renting one would run hundreds of thousands a month. Inside the room, the despairing voice of Hoion's father echoed, "I'm sorry. I wanted to at least let you kids play to your heart's content. As many games as you wanted. I'm sorry for being such a failure of a father." Hoion didn't blame him at all. And despite their father's company going bankrupt, his younger sister kept comforting him. "Dad, please stop crying." "So what if we can't play those games? I'm sure Hoion understands." His mother sighed and chimed in, "I'm the one who's at fault here. You did nothing wrong." Seeing this, Hoion's sister sighed. "Oh, geez. Seriously. What is it now, Mom?" Hoion slowly looked at them. That was when I truly realized how harsh reality is. I had no choice but to give up on AR Channel early. If only I knew this would happen, I would never have quit the game. Since I haven't played for a whole year, my level and stats are absolute garbage. And even when I finally awakened my powers, who would have thought I'd reincarnate as a character I created 15 years ago? Taking another sip of his tea, Hoion let out a tired sigh. Delicious. But inside, his mind was completely exhausted. I'm going to go crazy. Honestly, because now he was the very character that Li Hoion had created during his edgy teenage years, and one he had poured his heart and soul into. The backstory goes like this. Raphael was once the heir of a prestigious family, but after his clan was slaughtered by a demon, he was left all alone. To exact his revenge, he decided to become a demon hunter. What a generic cringe backstory I came up with back then for this alter ego of mine from high school. Hoyan shuddered at his own cringe-worthy past. It was his ultimate dark history. Though it felt like a cool memory back in high school now that he was grown up, remembering it only brought him absolute embarrassment. Hoyan let out a dry laugh. What nostalgic memories. Though inside he was utterly dying of embarrassment. Just shut up, self, and stop talking in that weird, dramatic way. And how am I supposed to deal with work tomorrow? And with this way of speaking, will I even be able to reintegrate into society? Suddenly, Hoyol recalled the scene of his manager lecturing him. Hoyol, what is with that hair? It's so shiny it looks like a light bulb. Are you some kind of celebrity? Where do you think you're going? Hey, Hoyol, why are you looking at me like that? Is something wrong? Did I say something wrong? As soon as the man finished speaking, Hoyol threw his coffee right into his face. Just imagining it, sweat poured down his face. No, I can't do that. I'll get sued. Meanwhile, Hoyol was still speaking out loud. A noble does not bow his head even when facing adversity, even though on the inside he was utterly in despair. I can't believe this. Everything that comes out of my mouth is completely different from what I actually think. Is this what it feels like to become a player and synchronize with your character? Most people said there wasn't a huge difference. Then why am I like this? Anyway, in this state, there's no way I can work anywhere. It looks like I have no choice but to work as a player. But other than my memories from 15 years ago, I don't remember much about Arcana. After thinking for a while, Hoyeol turned on his computer, his face growing dead serious. First, I need to do some research. I have no idea what it takes to actually be a player. The amount of money high-level players make from clearing rifts, it easily reaches hundreds of millions. However, that's just meaningless information to me. Because all of that money is earned by risking your life on the battlefield. Staying alive is always more important than money. At that moment, Hoyol spoke again. I Grandfell Cloudy Arpeus. Romeo have no material desires, for I have already tasted the absolute pinnacle of wealth, even though on the inside he was thinking, that's why I don't care about that stuff. Anyway, I need to look up what modern-day demon hunters do for work. Looking at the sparse search results on the screen, he noticed there were only 2 pages. What is this? Are there no active demon hunters at all? And if you exclude the 2 wiki pages, there are only a few news articles left. What he saw next made Granfell's eyes widen in disbelief as he noticed a new update on the news. But the text that flashed before his eyes. Arcana's Arkshan stronghold fell last night. All demon hunters have been murdered. According to the Healers Association at 3 a.m. on the 30th, it has been confirmed that 152 people were killed with no survivors. Hoyol found this news hard to believe. The Arkshan stronghold was destroyed. The only town to become a demon hunter in the Holy Land for all demon hunters. Those NPCs, there's no way. So it's not that no one plays this class, but because this class has been completely wiped out. A thought crossed his mind. To kill all the demon hunters. Of course, even 15 years ago, the Demon Hunter class was a total mess. It wasn't just because of its low stats and awkward build paths, but even its skills were weak. And because leveling up by hunting monsters was too difficult, they had to constantly do errand quests like this. Thank you for helping me every day. They had to rely entirely on quest experience to level up. The looks in their eyes turned frighteningly cold. However, when it came to fighting demons, no other class could compare, but because demons only appeared during Demon Hunter quests, system notifications popped up before his eyes. Kill more demons, kill more and more demons, kill more and more and more demons. And most of the quests were utterly shameless, forcing players to constantly hone their demon-slaying skills. So to everyone else, it was a completely pointless class to play. Whenever other players saw those demon hunters, they would look down on them. Is that a demon hunter over there? I can't believe anyone actually plays that dog crap class. Demon hunter was treated as a useless class. But a useless class and an unlevelable class are 2 completely different things. Now, who is going to give me quests to deliver bread? This is bad. All the skill-teaching NPCs are dead, too. Is there any other information? More news kept flashing right before his eyes. Summary of Arcana Update 462. Now I can't even be a bread delivery boy anymore. Who would have thought that delivering bread would become so popular? How are we supposed to defeat the demons now? If I knew this was going to happen, I would have become a demon hunter. This update is insane. It's time. Hoyol's eyes widened as if he had discovered something. Various news posts kept appearing. Isn't that why anyone still playing must be celebrating? A post from Azel's blog caught his attention. Hello, I'm Azel Express. Let me explain to you kids who don't understand what's going on. Demon hunters are specialists when it comes to defeating demons, which were newly added in this latest update. New types of demons have been added in this update. Reading up to this point, Hoyol calmly clicked forward. Arcana History Update 5.1 completed. Reality integration complete. Various comments kept pouring in. Who could possibly survive in the middle of all these monsters now? On top of that, there's the demon race. Player casualties have skyrocketed because of the demon's mental disruption and possession debuffs. Even level 200 players are struggling. This leaves Hoyon sitting there lost in thought. Have demons actually appeared in the real world now? So why haven't the demon hunters wiped them out? Could it be? Keeping his composure, he searches for information. His face grows serious as he ponders what if he is the sole surviving demon hunter after the fall of Asan. If that's the case, should I step up and take responsibility? It's been 15 years since I walked away. There's no guarantee the demons I knew back then are the same as today's. 15 years is a long time, plenty of time for everything to change. If even high-level players are struggling, what could I possibly do? Suddenly, a voice from behind catches his attention. You're too weak. I, Raffaello da Abbas Romeo, would never turn tail and run just because of some petty demons. That is my pride. No matter how much those demons mock or tempt me, they can never tarnish the pride of the Caffio family. Thinking up to this point, Hoyon makes his decision instantly. All right, let's do this. He sighs and slowly stands up. What pointless worrying. There's absolutely no reason to hesitate. He recalls the news reports and the innocent people who tragically lost their lives. Hoyon adjusts his cuffs. You lot should feel honored, because I'll personally drag you back to hell. Many years have passed since the Great Cataclysm. Though much was destroyed, humanity has rebuilt, and life has returned to the streets. People quickly adapted to the new world, but where there is light, darkness also lurks. The negative emotions stemming from this transition serve as the perfect fuel for demons. It seems some people have slowly begun to mutate. They stare at the players right before them. I'll choose these guys today. And just like that tragedy struck those unfortunate souls. Glancing at his phone screen, Cheon-min sighs and complains, The last person is finally here. A bit late, though. There's still 1 minute left before our scheduled time. Let's wait a bit longer, shall we? He is the armored Captain Nam Cheon-min. Turning around, he notices something. Hoyon approaches with a haughty look. Realizing Hoyon was already there, Cheon-min is taken aback. Oh, you're already here. Nam Cheon-min smiles and gestures forward. Everyone, this is our final member. You arrived just in the nick of time. I'm the party leader, Nam Cheon-min. Pleasure to meet you. Hoyon replies with a simple likewise, though his mind is elsewhere. So that's a dimensional rift. This is how players see it. Ordinary people aren't affected by rifts. If I hadn't awakened, I would have been just like them. More importantly, the interface before him makes him freeze. Ni Tribe Underground Warehouse. Recommended level 35 to 40. Destruction progress 19.8%. Hoyon is a bit speechless. It requires levels 35 to 40. Not bad for level 55, but I'm more than ready. I checked the average level of the players joining this hunt. It's 200. That's a level I can't even fathom right now. I'll have to grind hard to level up. Fortunately, high-level players aren't the only ones who awakened. That's why I was able to find a party of my tier. A group of people appears before him. First is the black-haired guy, a hybrid close-range armored class named Han Sol. Next is Seol Jian, who plays as a steel mage. I look forward to working with you today. And finally, the close-range brawler Cho Ji-hoon. It's a pleasure to work with you. Realizing time is running out, Cheon-min reminds everyone, judging by the destruction progress, the other parties have probably already gone inside. Let's prep for a bit and head in exactly 5 minutes from now. Everyone nods in agreement. Only Hoyon remains extremely vigilant. He notices the system notification. Destruction progress 19.8%. Thoughts race through his mind. Once the destruction progress hits 100%, the rift will collapse and the monsters will be unleashed into the real world. That's why players are given free rein to raid these rifts, because only players can handle this ticking time bomb. Once the prep time is up, Cheon-min asks, All right, shall we head in? Everyone seems highly motivated. Let's go. Let's do our best. I'm pumped too. Let's nail this. Although Hoyon maintains a cold exterior, he is secretly thrilled. Everyone is so friendly. Maybe I should say something too. As the only son among 4 siblings, I've always had to watch my step to survive when they started bickering. Number 1, Lee Yoon-hee. Number 2, Lee Ji-yoon. Number 3, Lee Ye-rim. and the youngest, Lee Hoyan. Blending into a crowd is a piece of cake for me. Right after Hoyan confidently declares, "There's no need for you all to worry, because I'm here now." But his own words immediately plunge him into despair. Acting like some arrogant king. Isn't that a bit too cringe? Fortunately, they completely ignored him. Everyone knows what kind of monsters the Ni are, right? Of course. I've actually fought them a few times. As long as we keep our guard up, this mission will be a walk in the park. Observing the awkward situation, Hoyan reminds himself, "Note to self, don't say another word from now on." Suddenly, a system notification pops up. You have entered the Nai tribe underground warehouse, grain storage. The scenery here shifts into something truly ominous. With everything in complete ruins, Hoyan's squad slowly makes their way inside. After searching for a while, Ji-eun sighed and said, "I don't see any sign of them." Cheon-min, standing right next to her, suddenly spoke up. "Another party must have beaten us to it. But don't worry, we'll still get our share if we're on the right track." His words instantly boosted everyone's confidence. "Great, I trust you. All right, let's go hunt some monsters." Only Hoyan realized that something was off. While the others were still busy chatting, he spotted something 10 meters ahead. "Everyone prepare for battle." Confirmed, Cheon-min couldn't wait any longer and charged forward. "Let's go." Seeing this, the others quickly rushed after him. "Wait for me, senior." Looking at their formation, Hoyan thought to himself, 1 tank, 2 melee fighters, and 1 mage. This composition is pretty standard, but the tank is attacking the monsters instead of protecting his team. The off-tank is taking all the hits and the mage is the main damage dealer. Is this how people do it nowadays? Well, it's none of my business anyway. I'm supposed to be useless after all. Ji-eun called out, "My buff skill is almost ready." Ji-hoon hastily said, "Senior, please slow down a bit." This made Hoyan chuckle. These newbies couldn't even keep up with him. Suddenly, he looked at his system screen. Right, the real problem is, in his inventory, he had various items, a super expensive yet weak silver dagger, a costly silver arrow, and a hidden adventurer's bow. These items left Hoyan feeling disappointed. "I don't have a single useful item. I should avoid fighting until I find a suitable weapon." Just then an arrow flew straight toward him. At the same time, Hoyan sensed something else. As he turned his head, he saw the monsters targeting him. Observing this, Hoyan quickly shouted, "Ambush behind the pillar!" Hearing this, everyone scrambled to defend themselves. Sensing that things were turning bad, Selnak shouted, "There are too many of them. I can't hold them all off." Meanwhile, more and more cuts appeared on Ji-hoon's face. "Damn it, Senior Cheon-min, help us, Senior. What on earth are you doing? Get back!" Just then a shout rang out, "Ji-hoon, watch out!" While his guard was down, a monster lunged at him, its cold blade thrusting forward. Terrified, he let out a loud scream. Suddenly, a loud blast echoed as if something had blocked the attack. Ji-hoon was still in shock when he saw the lifeless corpse of the monster. Hoyan had just saved him. His expression remained completely calm. "These beasts don't seem well trained. They don't really suit me, but beggars can't be choosers." Seeing him step in, Ji-hoon looked surprised. "Thanks, but what is up with the way he talks?" Hoyan thought helplessly. "It's not like I want to talk this way either." On the other side, Selnak was giving his all to fight off the monsters right in front of him. 2 of them got past behind you move. Ji-eun panicked as the monsters kept charging. Everything was happening too fast, leaving her completely lost on what to do next. "What should I do?" "I don't know what to do." Hoyan, standing right next to her, coldly raised his bow. "Calm down. I'll take care of any that get close. Cast your strongest spell, even if it takes a long time to cast." Seeing him step up to protect her, she quickly nodded. Understood. The monster was blasted backward by her attack. Meanwhile, Ji-hoon and Selnak were still fighting relentlessly at the front lines. How much longer? Almost ready. Regaining her composure, she suddenly yelled, "Firing, watch out, everyone, fire arrow!" Flaming arrows incinerated all the monsters. A massive explosion went off right in front of them, sending clouds of dust and smoke into the air. A bewildered Ji-hoon called out, "Is it over?" Suddenly remembering something, Ji-eun turned to Ho-yeon. "Are you okay?" Turning to leave, he replied, "I'm fine. Keep an eye on the others." She then headed back toward their teammates. "Are you all right?" Meanwhile, Ho-yeon just stood there, lost in thought. He suddenly remembered his expensive silver arrow, his eyes filled with a trace of regret. "Can I get that arrow back, I wonder?" Meanwhile, Ji-eun handed over a potion. "This is an elixir. Drink it before more of them show up." Selnak quickly reached out to take it. "Thank you. He noticed Cheon-min was still standing idle on the side. This infuriated Ji-hoon. "Damn it, are you crazy? What the hell are you doing?" "I can understand you not noticing the ambush. But why did you just stand there and do absolutely nothing? You led us into a goddamn trap. And you call yourself a frontline tank. Explain yourself now." Listening to these insults, Cheon-min let out a strange smile. In the middle of the room, his laughter echoed continuously, suggesting his mind was no longer stable. Right in front of everyone, Cheon-min clutched his stomach and burst into hysterical laughter. This situation made Ji-hoon even more furious. He could no longer laugh. "Is this funny to you? If it weren't for your famous older brother, you'd be absolutely nothing. Did you think you were a big shot just because I called you senior?" Suddenly, the entire space plunged into darkness, throwing everyone into a panic. "Where did the fire go? At the same time?" The crazed voice of Cheon-min echoed continuously. "You're asking me if this is funny? Of course it is. It's freaking hilarious. How could I not laugh when a bunch of idiots are struggling right in front of me?" His laughter echoed all over the place. This froze everyone in their tracks. At the same time, the system displayed a new notification. Natural enemy skill activated. Combat power is rapidly increasing while facing a demon. Looking at Cheon-min's current appearance, Ho-yeon immediately realized, "So, you're a demon." Cheon-min's distorted face slowly emerged. "You finally get it now, you idiot." A wicked smile spread across Cheon-min's face. "So you've figured it out, you bastard?" The system flashed a warning. Natural enemy skill activated. This situation threw everyone in the party into utter confusion. What a demon seal reached out his hand, asking in disbelief, "No way. What are you talking about? A demon? How could Cheon-min be a demon?" Right at that moment, a pitch-black darkness enveloped him. Seol was completely bewildered, and terror slowly crept into his eyes. "What is this? Where did everyone go?" Screams suddenly rang out, startling him. When Seol looked back, his teammates were bound high up in the air. Ji-hoon's eyes were filled with despair as he reached his hand out toward him, crying, "Save me." This terrified him so much that he couldn't even react. Multiple system notifications popped up in rapid succession. "A demon is watching you. Your psychological state is extremely poor." Despair, screaming, "Don't come near me." He had fallen into an abnormal state of extreme fear. It seemed he was completely helpless in this situation. "Help, is anyone there?" Cheon-min watched with amusement as they shuddered in terror at the illusions they were experiencing. Seizing the opportunity, Ho-yeon lunged forward. He unleashed a direct attack at Cheon-min, but unfortunately Cheon-min managed to block it. "You don't care if these people die. You should know that if you kill me, they die too." Ho-yeon thought to himself, "I probably can't pierce through his armor. I need to aim for the gaps." Seeing Ho-yeon looking so deep in thought, that Cheon-min grew even more arrogant. "Are you really going to attack me and ignore their lives?" He charged straight at Ho-yeon to attack. The system continued to display warnings. Natural enemy skill activated. Combat power is rapidly rising due to the presence of a demon. Ho-yeon struck back decisively, but Cheon-min's armor was so sturdy that the blow didn't even scratch him. Instead, he spun around and countered Ho-yeon. How foolish humans are so fake. Despite the relentless barrage of attacks, Ho-yeon showed no fear. "Just a minute ago, all of you were acting so friendly. And with this guy. And now..." Before Cheon-min could even realize it, Ho-yeon's blade had already sliced past him. Blood poured down his face, freezing him in place. Overcome with agonizing pain, Cheon-min clutched his face and screamed as chaotic thoughts rushed through his mind. "I was slashed by a mere human. Damn it is that a silver sword..." Ho-yeon coldly warned him. "Don't talk to me, I don't talk to prey." Only then did Cheon-min realize he had messed with the wrong person? Where did everything start to go wrong? Flashback to the past. Taemin kept calling out to him. Only then did Cheon-min look up. Taemin smiled and asked, "Why are you spacing out like that? Does it hurt a lot?" He quickly shook his head and explained, "No, I was just distracted." Taemin sighed and chided him. "That's why I told you to stay away from dangerous dimensional rifts. Forget it, you should just give up on this. Just join my guild and work as an analyst." Hearing this, Cheon-min could only offer a strained smile. "I just don't want to live like a loser." Everyone who met Cheon-min only sneered at him. "What's your name again?" "Oh, you're Taemin's older brother, man. I heard Taemin just cleared a raid." "An S-class boss, pass on my congratulations to him, will you?" "You need to work harder so you don't embarrass your little brother." "Are you sure you're his older brother? How can the two of you even be related? What can you even do in a dimensional rift? You should listen to your brother, or you're gonna get yourself killed." Back then, Min thought in despair, I just wanted to be a brother my little brother could be proud of. Suddenly, a demon spoke up. I'll help you. Before he could even react, the demon possessed his body, adding, all you have to do is sit back and watch. A twisted smile formed on his face. A demon is watching you. Your psychological state is extremely poor. Min was still in a daze. What? What is happening? The system suddenly flashed a new warning. Abnormal status possessed. And just like that, Min's body quickly marched forward. Let's go. He still couldn't comprehend what was happening. What? No, wait. He felt completely helpless as he watched everyone get hurt. He couldn't do a thing. Don't look at him, he's a demon. Even though he fought against it, Min was completely under the demon's control, sinking into his own deep remorse. No. I put everyone in danger. Right after system alerts flashed, your mental state is too unstable. You cannot resist. Min had no idea what to do. As if he wasn't even there, time seemed to stand still as Ho-Yol completely finished off the demon. His body writhed in agonizing pain as he screamed, his shrieks echoing out. It hurts. It hurts so much, you crazy bastard. Don't you know that if you kill me, he dies too? Don't you care whether the host of this body lives or dies? You want to become a murderer, is that it? Ho-Yol just calmly stared at the demon. After a brief moment of thought, he suddenly spoke. I get it now. That is his pride. This threw the demon into utter confusion. What? In that instant, Ho-Yol lunged forward with his dagger. Without a single moment of hesitation, he struck. As the demon inside Min's body writhed in despair, Ho-Yol spoke once more. I have received your pride, Nam Min. Sometime later, Min slowly opened his eyes. Remembering everything that had happened, he panicked. A demon. But then he noticed his own condition, which left him completely bewildered. I was definitely possessed by a demon. His teammates rushed over to check on him. Min, are you okay? His hands trembled. I'm alive. But how I was stabbed. Seeing Min in such despair, Ho-Yol suddenly spoke up. I told you so. You don't need to worry because I'm right here. A smug look spread across his face. Human negative emotions are what feed demons. So stand proud and don't be afraid of them. Ho-Yol was a demon hunter whose attacks only affect demons. Min pondered his words. Pride. Ho-Yol still wore a smug grin. No matter how much time passes, I'll never forget that logic. Though he was slightly disappointed. Nothing dropped what a trash demon. Soon it was the next morning inside a massive building. An online post summarizing today's Rank 4 Rift Raid read, Today could have been a truly disastrous day. A member of my party got possessed by a demon. I honestly thought our whole party was going to bite the dust. But there was this insanely strong guy in our group and he just took the demon out. The party leader and I were crying our eyes out, thanking him and apologizing over and over. The comments started popping up. What kind of fanfiction is this? At least make it sound believable. How could a demon even appear in a dimensional rift and at least give the guy a name? Why do you keep calling him just a party member? Reading this post left Min a bit speechless. Taking a relaxed sip from his teacup, he asked, And you want me to believe this young... Min nodded firmly. Yes. Min took another sip of his tea. I'm the master of an assault guild, but recruiting someone based on a garbage post like this is a bit... Min suddenly cut him off. The party leader who got possessed was me. This man was Nam Min, level 368, the 11th ranked barbarian player. Those words left him utterly speechless. What? No way. Scene transition inside a high-rise building in the city. Min's voice echoed, What, you really want to give up your player status and become an analyst for Gon? You used to be so against this. Why the sudden change? It's really hard to believe. Min smiled warmly and replied, Is it really that hard to trust your own brother? I'm truly grateful for your help. Min sighed and said, Stop teasing me. Seeing his brother look much more relaxed, Min replied, I was just joking. Min asked again, Are you sure you're not joking? About becoming an analyst? Min firmly set his teacup down on the table. No, I'm completely serious about this. I finally realized my own weaknesses and what my role should be. I've been struggling so hard to keep up with you all this time, but now I want to preserve my dignity and walk my own path. Seeing his brother's transformation, Min found himself deeply intrigued. Now you've got me curious. I wonder what kind of person could make you change this much. And to hunt down a demon! If status ailments don't affect him at all, his mental stats must be absolutely insane. You also mentioned that he fought with a dagger instead of magic. There are thousands of classes in Arcana, but I can't even begin to imagine which class he belongs to. Given those stats, I don't get why he would even choose to enter a low-rank rift like that. Chillmin immediately replied, "So you find it hard to believe too?" "Why don't you? But this time please trust me." Taemin suddenly interrupted him. "Who said I didn't believe you?" "I do believe you. After all, you're the analyst who witnessed the boss pattern firsthand, proposed guild management strategies, and scouted rising stars. I wouldn't be where I am today without you, Hyung. So of course I trust you, Hyung. I even brought a contract with me. After all, you are my older brother, and a proud analyst for Gaon." All these compliments were making Chillmin a bit embarrassed. "Geez, you're embarrassing me. Thanks, though." Hearing this, he burst into laughter. "Anyway, take a look at the contract, Hyung. What do you think, Mr. Analyst?" He took the contract. "All right, let's see." Reading through the terms carefully made Chillmin feel extremely satisfied, but soon sweat began to pour down his face. What is the deal with these terms, Taemin?" We cut to Hoyol's one-story house in the city. Meanwhile, he had reached level 67. "I leveled up." "Wait, didn't I just level up?" And not only that, but it shot up by 12 levels at once. Hoyol was still grumbling, complaining that it was too little. Of course, he ignored this side of himself. "So those Oni aren't worth much, but just killing one imp. It was enough to raise me by 12 levels. He sighed and walked outside, completely ignoring the monsters. Deep down, Hoyol was still very excited. "Me too. Now how should I allocate my stat points?" "All right, I'm too tired right now. Let's just lie in bed and think about it later." Seeing the sight before him, Hoyol suddenly spoke. It was like a message. A clean environment brings a pure mind. Seeing his own actions, this made him completely speechless. "Please just let me rest already." By the evening inside the apartment, Hoyol was cooking his usual soup. He didn't forget to take a spoonful to taste it. His face lit up with excitement. A healthy taste! But his other self could only think in sheer despair. Right, this is Granfel's personality, always sticking to a schedule and practicing self-discipline. I've also learned a thing or two from this. The traits I gave to Granfell have been applied to real life, including my work and level. Before this, I used to just lie around after a shower and wait for food delivery. But thanks to him, my lifestyle has become much more disciplined. Now, what about his talent? Granfell doesn't just have one talent. He has a gift for magic and can replicate any spell after seeing it just once. He's also incredibly smart. And incredibly healthy, too. As the music played, he set his pen down on the notebook. At this thought, Hoyol smugly brushed back his hair. And that's how it is. He felt a bit speechless. I wrote down all the good traits. Anyway, if those traits are being applied to reality, I think I need to test them. Right at that moment, a notification arrived. It was a message from Nam Cheolmin. "Excuse me. Hello, Mr. Hoyol. I'm Nam Cheolmin, the leader of yesterday's Rift Raid. How are you doing now? So, I was thinking of inviting you to join GON, the top guild in South Korea. I know this offer is a bit sudden, but with your influence, you would be an incredible fit for the Gaon Guild." These messages caught Hoyol's attention. A message from Cheolmin. "Why is it so long? I don't know much about this stuff, so I can't just join right away. For now, I'll just decline his offer. All right, time to do some testing. What I'm going to test is the ability to replicate a spell after seeing it just once." With that, Hoyol continued watching videos uploaded on YouTube. Meanwhile, on the other side, Cheolmin and Taemin were still staring blankly at the screen. In response to that incredibly long message, Hoyol had replied with just one word, "No." This reply left Cheolmin utterly bewildered. Wait, really? Could he have already been scouted by another guild? Seeing this, Taemin shouted angrily, "Another guild? Who would dare GON, the #1 guild in South Korea, offered to give him a house, cover his car, all expenses, and a 95-5 profit split? Is there any other guild that could offer a better deal than that?" He shook his head in confusion. "I'm not sure. Ever since the Mage Tower appeared in Seoul, foreign guilds have been setting up branches here." Taemin still couldn't accept this. Who the hell is it? Who dares to step foot into my territory? After a brief silence, Cheolmin quickly spoke up. "Even if it's not a foreign guild, it could be one of the top guilds in Seoul." As Taemin listened to this, Taemin couldn't hide his anger. "I can't just let this slide. No other guild can offer a better deal than mine. This is a contract that even the executives of Gaon haven't seen yet. I absolutely cannot let this go. Tell me, Hyung, what does he look like?" Hearing this, Xiaomin looked baffled. What, why? He was still grumpily putting his outfit back on. I plan to bring him back to the guild before those other guys snatch him away. Tell me everything you know about him. His face turned thoughtful. Good looking. Hearing this, Taemin was speechless. What describing a mythical creature would make more sense than that? Min immediately recalled Li Hun's appearance. He was like a mythical creature, always wearing that completely blank, unchanging face. At that thought, he nodded and spoke up. Exactly! He looks just like a noble from a fantasy novel. Hearing that, Taemin was startled and dazed. A truly noble and elegant appearance. Inside the tiny inn room, Li Hun was still glued to tutorial videos. His face turned thoughtful as he silently pondered, I get it. I can grasp the basic foundations of magic. I can definitely use them if I have enough mana. Even without the name Granfell, who would care about your past? Even if you're just a product of my cringy teenage years, you're still the greatest genius, Li Hun thought coldly. He turned around and tapped on the system screen. Anyway, I'm absolutely sure I can use these things now. Now is the time to allocate stat points. I don't know how much more talented Granfell will get, so I should prepare for every possibility. 2 points into stamina and agility. I'll put 7 points into mana since it's so low. And Li Hun recalled the text on the paper. As the last survivor of the Granfell family, Claudia Peos Romeo chose to walk the path of a demon hunter. To avenge his family. This made Li Hun reflect. Why did I suddenly remember that, even though it's just something I wrote, it really is a tragic life? At that thought, a cheerful smile appeared on Li Hun's face. He quickly increased his luck stat by 1, feeling deeply satisfied as he looked at his current stats. This is for the sake of myself and Granfell, who will have a tough time from now on. I only increased my luck stat from 1 to 2, but that still means I have double. Oh, the luck I had before. Who knows, maybe tomorrow I'll find some money lying on the street. A moment later, Li Hun was stunned. A system notification appeared, and it was so unbelievable that his face lit up with a smile even brighter than if he had found money on the street. A class quest notification popped up. Class quest, beginning of the counterattack. Seeing the notification right in front of him, Li Hun was startled. A class quest. Is it the kind of quest I'm thinking of? After Akina became reality quests, became incredibly rare. The reason was simple. There couldn't be many NPCs in the real world to hand out quests, so even normal quests were scarce. Yet I received a class quest. Though it looks a bit like a regular quest for a demon hunter class, from what I remember, it's not like a normal quest at all. Looking at the information right in front of him, Li Hun was instantly dazed. He thought in confusion, I knew it. Above it was a news article about a C-rank knight. A player named Quiver smiled in front of the screen after receiving a class quest. A class quest is a quest given to only one person. Among those with the same class, it's a massive deal when just one person receives it. It's enough to make the front page news. It really is an amazing quest that everyone pays attention to. Just having it can push you to the top ranker list. Logically speaking, a level 67 like me shouldn't be able to receive a class quest. So it must be because... Li Hun tapped on the system screen, confirming his theory. He sighed in dismay. Just as I thought. I'm the only demon hunter left. His eyes gradually grew cold as he glanced to the side. It makes sense. Flashback to the past. This place was Oxon, the demon hunter's sanctuary. Back then, Li Hun stood dazed right here. It sounded like an interesting place, but the reality was a complete shock. The scene before him was absolute chaos as the voice of the demon hunter NPC guide rang out. Welcome, warriors, to Oxon. We will begin the entrance ceremony up there. Now move. A system notifications appeared. Climb the cliff. Current height 0 meters out of 1,000 meters. Looking at the vines in front of him, Li Hun was completely speechless. Damn it, he's lost his mind. The quests were repetitive, difficult, and utterly meaningless. The guide continued to yell, "Can't you go any faster? This is where you'll be staying from now on." The sight inside the room filled him with despair. The facilities were terrible. Before anyone could even catch their breath, he spoke up again. Now let's go eat. The cafeteria is down where we just came from. The quest popped up again. Go eat at the cafeteria. Current height 522 meters out of 1,000 meters. The guide kept shouting insults. Hurry up, recruits. If you can't even handle this, get the hell out of Oxon. This made everyone even more desperate with the NPC constantly shouting right in their faces. Thinking back to this, Li Hun was lost in thought. Everyone wanted to quit. He continued to think, demons will dig deep into human minds, so This kind of training made me stronger. He was speechless, thinking his middle school syndrome was really severe. Anyway, that's in the past. Let's see what this quest is about. But the next scene made Lee Hoon freeze on the spot. He couldn't believe what was happening. The scene shifted to the Korean Branch Association. It was a facility established to reduce chaos and damage in the world. They hired personnel who had previously worked with the developers of Akina to handle how Akina's updates would manifest in the real world. They gathered Akina-related information and analyzed it for the players. In other words, they were overworked, and the staff was constantly exhausted. Damn, Akina. Senior, do you think there will be another spatial rift this week? It's already past 8 o'clock, so nothing's going to happen, right? Jianmin sighed from the side and said, "We can only hope so." Hearing this, the guy continued talking. "That bastard Jamin is seriously terrifying. He must be the admin of the homepage always posting stuff, right?" But the other guy still didn't seem to care. "All right, that's enough gossip. Just keep clicking refresh." He sighed and complained. "I'm just wondering how that's even possible. Whenever he posts something on the homepage, the exact same thing happens in real life shortly after." These words froze Jianmin in his tracks. Suddenly, he let out a loud shout, startling the person next to him. "There's a new update." Looking at the screen in front of him, he was completely shocked. "No way!" Jianmin quickly stared at the scene before him. "This can't be." "No, things here have completely devolved into chaos. There really is an update." "Are they kidding? Where are you going?" "To submit my resignation." "Pull out your phone. The reporters are starting to call." "What are you doing?" Pulling out his phone, Jianmin kept muttering to himself. A new breed of demons will be here soon. New spatial rift. The fortress of Count Asuka's family. New demons. Bloodthirsty thug level 230. Bloodthirsty monster level 230 to 250. Soldiers of Count Asuka level 300. Knights of Count Asuka level 350. Followers of Count Asuka level 390. Newly named monster Count Asuka level 430. It looks like this monster is a demon, and a highly formidable one. Seeing this new information right in front of him left the guy next to him completely bewildered. Level 430. The top player is only level 403 right now. This isn't an update meant for humans anymore. I think it's way too hard even if all players teamed up. Jianmin sighed and replied, "That's not even the main issue. It might not just require a single guild, but the entire world." This made him extremely curious. "What about the Wizard's Tower? What if we get help from those NPCs?" He suddenly interrupted. "The NPCs in the tower won't do a thing. Unless the tower itself is threatened, they won't lift a finger at a time like this." Hearing this, the guy right next to him fell into utter despair. "So," Jianmin pushed up his glasses, "there's no viable option. They're basically telling us to just stand by and watch everyone die. It's over. This spatial rift is on the verge of collapsing." His conclusion enraged the guy next to him. "Don't jump to conclusions so fast. If we fail to raid the rift, those things will break out into the real world. That bastard Jamin, just what does he think human lives are worth?" Jianmin thought to himself in frustration. "All the updates so far have been manageable, but this completely breaks the balance. It's unimaginable. Unless a miracle happens." A system quest popped up right before his eyes. Class quest prelude to the counterattack. To the last demon hunter. The time has finally come to strike back against the demons. Requirement: demon hunting completed. Immediate quest. Physical training in progress. Ho-Yoon calmly raised his teacup to his lips and took a sip. "Why?" The system window continued to display the physical training info. Today's target run 20 kilometers completed. 1,000 push-ups, 500 in progress. Pull-ups completed, 300 burpees completed. Ho-Yoon asked himself helplessly, "Nothing has changed since I was in Asan. My whole body is shaking. Is it really okay to suddenly train this hard? What if I end up dead?" The store clerk smiled and asked, "Would you like a bag, sir?" Ho-Yoon, trembling, handed over his card. "No, thank you." Dinner was a messy, half-made heap on the table. Ho-Yoon sat tiredly in the corner. "I can't even make a sandwich, because my hands are shaking so much." But he still ate it anyway. He couldn't help it if his homemade sandwich looked a bit deformed. He reminded himself, "Don't make a mess and spill crumbs everywhere." Then he remembered something. His face lit up with joy. "But it does feel good to actually accomplish something. I would have given up if it wasn't for this AFL ability. Anyway, I finally finished that stupid quest. I can finally sleep well now. I'm actually kind of excited to see what tomorrow's quest is. Time quickly skipped to the next morning. While everyone else was happily working, Ho-Yoon's entire body was shaking uncontrollably. He was probably still training. Damn you, system. Although he looked perfectly fine on the outside, he was suffering immensely, deep down angrily cursing Asan in his head. For today's goal, he had only finished 300 burpees. The more he thought about it, the angrier Ho-Yoon became. These repeat quests are crazy and it's already been a whole week. As soon as I finish, one another pops up. When he finally completed all of today's targets, another notification arrived. You have completed today's target. This drove Ho-Yoon to absolute despair. Are you kidding me? Ho-Yoon's entire body was trembling as he sat frozen in place. And yet I went and did it again. I guess I should thank Afel's ability for helping me get through this every single day. But how many more times do I have to do this to get a reward? The reward better not just be good health and a fit body or some crap like that. The sudden change in the system notification caught his attention. The system continued to display, you have met the requirements. You have received your rewards, stamina +2, intelligence +2. The more he thought about these things, what makes Hoyol even more desperate is that the stats he received are also permanent. Damn it, stat-boosting items are ridiculously expensive. It costs millions just to get 1 point. Normally, merchants can ask for anything in return, but I managed to gain 4 stat points without even leveling up. This is insane. On top of that, if this is a repeatable quest, it means I can keep getting them over and over. The rewards are just too good. Right beside him, his Granfell persona spoke up listlessly. I would do this 10 times a day if there's a reward like that. Just thinking about this made him flinch. No, it wouldn't go that far. Just then, a news broadcast from the speaker caught his attention. Breaking news, the upcoming update this Tuesday has been drawing a lot of attention. Most guilds have already given up on raiding the new Dimensional Rift. This Tuesday, the new Dimensional Rift, the territory of the Count, has been updated. The new boss is known as Count Asura. Count Asura is said to be both a monster and a vampire. His level is 430, the highest we have ever seen. This proves that raiding the Dimensional Rift this time will be extremely difficult. Regarding this, the United Korea branch, deciding there was nothing left to say at this point, Hoyol reached out and turned it off. Level 430? Who could possibly kill something like that? Comments kept flooding the screen. What's up with this new update? Do they even know what balance is? How the hell are we supposed to fight that? Is Raymond kidding us? Do you guys really think this is balanced? Not even a little bit. We're doomed. Besides, the United Korea branch doesn't even care about us. What player could possibly defeat him? The reporters continued their live broadcast on the situation. With this update and this final double S rank boss, Count Asura, at level 430, I think this will be the toughest challenge in the history of the continent. Count Asura is said to be a vampire and a demon. The major guilds have refused to raid the Dimensional Rift, claiming the risk is too high. This news gave Hoyol a massive headache. Demons are the toughest opponents for players to face. They grow stronger the longer the fight lasts, and players have to deal with countless status effects when fighting them. That is why they say you must be at least 10 levels higher than them to win. So that bastard Count Asura is the last enemy I would ever want to face. If it weren't for this class quest, the system screen popped up with the class quest details. The counterattack begins to the last demon hunter. It is finally time to fight back against the demons. Initial condition: hunt a demon, completed. Current quest: hunt a vampire in progress. Just thinking about that terrifying creature made Hoyol despair. Damn Akshan. The only vampire that exists right now is Asura. So this quest is telling me to fight him. That's practically suicide. How am I supposed to defeat an invincible enemy like that? But those were only Lee Hoyol's emotions. His actual heartbeat was calmer than ever. Since this body didn't fully belong to him, why did he feel just like Granfell? As he thought about this, his Granfell persona suddenly opened his eyes. He let out a sigh and quickly stood up. These inferior creatures are wasting my precious time. I shall punish them severely for this insolence. Granfell's actions plunged Hoyol into utter despair. I knew it! He really wants to go kill them! Damn it, no! The scene shifted to Hoyol's familiar small apartment. He sat there in silence, lost in thought. Looking at the phone screen in his hand, the search results showed that Count Asura was currently in Russia. My first destination will have to be the Magic Tower. Why? Because there's a portal inside. That portal holds a massive teleportation spell that allows users to instantly travel anywhere in the world. This is why so many major guilds from all over the globe have branches in Korea. A helpless smile appeared on Hoyol's face as he stared at his phone screen. Should I just call a taxi? Suddenly, the voice of his Granfell persona rang out, snapping him out of his thoughts. It is time to depart. We have already wasted far too much time. Hoyol desperately rushed over to stop him. Wait, you can't go out looking like that. Realizing something was wrong, Hoyol gasped in surprise. Oh, right. Hoyol let out a sigh of relief. Yes, you should at least put on a simple jacket instead. But Granfell suddenly turned back. He stuffed a bunch of tea bags into his pocket, a look of absolute resolve in his eyes. One must never neglect the time to appreciate a good cup of tea. Hoyol tried to stop him in desperation. No, please, at least change into a regular jacket. The scene shifted to the massive magic tower in the city. Reporters were still gathered there, broadcasting live as chatter filled the air. Hurry up, put that in the back. Is this supposed to go on the truck? Gone Guild is coming today. What? What do you mean, coming where? There are so many reporters at the Magic Tower. Do you really think the Gown Guild is actually coming? It's highly likely. A new rift just appeared in Russia, right behind the Magic Tower. But why aren't they flying there? They are players, so using the magic portal to travel to Russia is completely normal. The man turned around to explain, but only a select few players can actually use the magic portal. Besides, it costs a massive amount of mana. However, the next sight made him freeze instantly. The imposing figure of Taemin began walking through the crowd. Beside him were other powerful figures. The reporter quickly rushed forward. They're here. It's the Gone Guild, hurry, get closer. Reporters instantly swarmed them. It's Guildmaster Nam Taemin, I'm a reporter from KBC. Please give us a few words. Are you on your way to conquer the new rift? Do you plan to share information about the rift? With other guilds? What is the reason you are setting out before the other guilds at this very moment? The reporter from earlier quickly pushes his way to the front to ask a question. Guild leader Nam Taemin, I'm Lee Gyono from MBS. Has your Gaon Guild found a way to defeat Count Asgar yet? Seeing that things are getting out of hand, Cheon Min quickly steps in to stop them. Please, everyone, let's do interviews later. Right now! Taemin bursts out laughing, a bright, cheerful smile on his face. I'm embarrassed to admit it, but we actually don't know how to defeat Count Asgard yet. We'll make a plan once we get inside. Canute. That answer leaves Cheon Min completely speechless. But the guild leader doesn't care at all and continues, as for why we're setting off before the other guilds. Of course it's to beat our competitors. There's nothing more to it. Share information with them? Absolutely not. Though they might demand we do, claiming it's necessary to maintain world peace. But if they really want to fight for peace, shouldn't they drag their own asses to Canute instead of cowardly? Oh, standing off in the distance and just watching. Just then another reporter suddenly shouts, Wait, that's the Shining Guild. What are they doing here? Hurry up with the cameras, Tamala. Please look this way. Guild leader Lot. Please look over here. The man with that smug smile on his face is Lot, a level 399 player ranked second and the leader of the Shining Guild. Reporters swarm Lot. Guild leader Lot. Excuse me, guild leader, there are too many people here. I think we'll have to walk. Please look this way. Hearing this, he nods. Got it. Thanks. The tall man walking beside him looks surprised. Isn't that the Gaon Guild over there? His remarks are incredibly rude. Lot scoffs with a mocking smile. He must be getting desperate. Since all the major guilds are coming to Korea for the Mage Tower, the Gaon Guild is rapidly slipping down the rankings. He's probably putting all his chips on this expedition. Looking at the crowd right in front of him only makes Taemin more annoyed. Suddenly, Cheon Min speaks up, catching his attention. There's no need to worry. We'll take it slow, step by step. Just do our best, and that'll be enough. He gets what his brother is trying to do. You're so reliable, bro. By the way, about that Ho Yan guy, you said you got back in touch with him. Cheon Min's face turns slightly helpless. Well, I adjusted some of the terms and reached out to him, but I haven't heard back yet. This really piques his interest. You did say he's really strong. Do you think he'll try to conquer Canute this time? And maybe we'll run into him at the Mage Tower. Meanwhile, Ho Yan is still squished on a crowded bus. Paying no attention to his surroundings, he keeps staring at his phone screen. A voice from the screen keeps playing, Now a level 300 player is demonstrating Hellfire. Ho Yan silently thinks, This is the 100th magic video I've watched. Now I completely understand it. There are 3 stages to magic practice: mana assessment, mana interference, and finally casting. He silently stares at his hands. Suddenly a flame erupts from his hand. Seeing Ho Yan's hand catch fire out of nowhere, everyone on the bus panics. Even the driver looks back in worry and yells, "Hey kid, don't go using your skills on the bus, that's dangerous." Ho-yeon gets flustered and thinks, "Oh no. I don't even know how much control I have over this. I'm so sorry, I'm really sorry. Please forgive me." But his cold Raphael persona responds in his mind, "I can control this flame perfectly, but I will stop so the other passengers don't panic." Ho-yeon doesn't know what to say to that. "Can you stop trying to act cool, please? Anyway, I actually learned a skill just by watching a video. I was a bit worried about what skills I might get, but this is pretty useful." Just then a system notification pops up, catching Ho-yeon's attention. Various details are listed: Natural Enemy, Elemental Master, Silver, Rapid Fire Skill Master, Exorcism. After reading the information, Ho-yeon notices something odd. Wait, where is the magic skill? When I learned it, it usually appeared on the right side of the status window. What is this? Bug sometime later? Ho-yeon gazes thoughtfully at the space before him. This is the inside of the Mage Tower. The bustling atmosphere of this place makes Ho-yeon feel a bit out of place. So this is the Mage Tower? The inside looks so different from the outside world. His eyes grow pensive as he continues to stare at the vast space ahead. This is the portal. But what he sees next makes him freeze instantly. What is this? It's a bit vague, but I feel like I can cast magic on my own. This portal space. Actually, it seems even easier than the flame magic from before. While Ho-yeon is still processing this, a man behind him accidentally bumps into him. Gay on Guild. Over here. The analyst is working on the summary right now. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just push him into the portal? I'm so sorry. Nearby Taemin quickly snaps. Where the hell are you going? This is so annoying. Should I just roast him right here? The man quickly apologizes. I'm so sorry. Cheon-min is taken aback and feels bewildered. That guy looked just like Ho-yeon. While he is still lost in thought, Taemin quickly turns around. Bro, show me the summary. Cheon-min nods. Sure. As you know, the new rift is in Russia, and it looks like this. The outer chamber of the rift is the outskirt of the domain, and there are hundreds of entrances leading into it. The inner ring is the Count's domain rift, with about 30 of them in total. The innermost ring, the castle rift, is where Count Asuka is located. But that's just a theory based on analyzing the shapes and types of these rifts. But if this rift ruptures, is there a high chance Count Asuka's castle will actually manifest in the real world? The scene shifts to another location. People are still gathered to report the news as reporters scramble to steal the spotlight. Yes, hello everyone, I am currently reporting live from Russia. There are tons of reporters and players here right now, and others are also starting their live streams. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kidpool. I'm in Russia, standing right in front of the new rift, as you can see. There are so many bizarre things about this rift, and I'm practically about to freeze to death here. But no matter what, Kidpool, will always bring you the most exciting updates. Comments keep flooding the screen. Man, that looks freezing cold. What kind of opportunities are over there? He continues to pan his camera around. So I'm going to explore this rift. As right behind me. Wait, watch your manners. I found this rift first. Just as Kidpool finishes his sentence, a cold voice rings out. I don't have the patience for this. With that, Ho-yeon quickly walks away. Deep down, he's totally miserable. I'm sorry, but it's just too damn cold. Meanwhile, Ho-yeon is already standing before a massive dimensional gate. A system notification pops up. Outer territory. Recommended level 240 to 270. Destruction progress 9.7%. He silently thinks to himself, I finally made it here. The outer territory rift. I hope it's warmer inside. Meanwhile, on the other side, the shadows of monsters are swiftly cut down. Belle Lucy uses her incredible speed to dash through the area. As she glides past, a monster's severed head rolls onto the ground. A voice from behind makes her turn her head in surprise. Sis, wait for me. A group of people are desperately trying to keep up with Belle Lucy. I know you're over level 300, but don't go so fast. Keep rushing and you'll just die faster. It's so cold. They immediately start bickering with each other. Hey, don't talk like that. At least show some manners, will you? Whatever. Belle Lucy remains silent as she watches this unfold. She is Leonie Belle Lucy, level 348, a top 10 berserker and the leader of the Berserker Guild. Her expression turns extremely irritated. What the hell are you guys spewing? Cut the crap, it's disgusting. You're really pissing me off. Her defining trait is her sharp tongue and zero filter. System notifications keep popping up. You have entered the outskirt rift. Recommended level 240 to 270. Destruction progress 9.7%. Hoi Ion slowly takes a step forward. A light breeze blows past, and he thinks in surprise, "So this is the outskirt? It's even colder here." But Hoi Ion stubbornly mutters, "A perfect start for a hunt. This freezing weather only fuels my burning rage." A sound from behind makes him spin around in surprise. At the same time, a pack of blood wolves level 230 slowly approaches. Hoi Ion calmly stares at the beasts. Level 230 monsters, and I'm only level 67. However, his stats are fully displayed on the screen. A warning from the system pops up, natural enemy skill activated. An expectant smile spreads across his face. "I can win this." Hoi Ion suddenly speaks up. "You mutts of the Count, looks like you've chosen the wrong master." With that, Hoi Ion reaches out and summons a small dagger. He eagerly anticipates the fight against these beasts. "I'll send you brainless beasts straight to hell. Taste the fear of being hunted." A system notification appears. "Hunt a vampire. Let them know the hunt has begun." The scene shifts to another area as a group of people arrives. Only a complete mess is left behind. An angry Belle Lucy uses her strength to repeatedly strike down the beasts. "There must be a ton of these mutated dogs, no kidding. Die, you miserable bastards. Just die already! Don't you dare snap at me! Why the hell are there so many of you?" The situation leaves everyone completely bewildered. "Hey, Captain, calm down a bit." Well, that's just how she is. Blood covers Belle Lucy's body, but she couldn't care less. All the mutated dogs lie dead at her feet. Seeing this, the guild members let out a heavy sigh. "We've already killed dozens of them, but they just keep coming. There's only a few left now." Sensing something is off, "Belle," Lucy suddenly speaks up. "Something's weird. These monsters aren't panicking at all. It's like they don't even know what fear is." But the other guild members don't pay much attention to her words. "What are you even talking about? Don't overthink it. It seems like you suspect something." "No, that's not it. I just have a really bad feeling about this. Have you guys ever seen them whimper or nurse their wounds during a hunt before?" Those words catch everyone off guard. But just as they start to process it, a sudden sound rings out, making them all spin around in surprise. Belle Lucy is completely baffled. She wonders about that howl coming from behind. Her teammates are absolutely terrified. That's no ordinary howl. It sounds as if the creatures themselves are frozen in fear. When we're hunting, they don't usually make a single sound. What on earth is going on? Not wanting to waste any time, Belle Lucy immediately charges forward. "We'll find out when we get there. Follow me." Hearing this, everyone follows, just as they are about to say something else. "Wait, let's go everyone this way." Hoi Ion is still holding his bow high. Gazing silently at the scene before him, he can feel the mana pulsing at the tip of his arrow. "This isn't a very good arrow, but I can observe the mana at the tip and manipulate it." And just like that, a flame erupts right before his eyes. With that thought in mind, he prepares to unleash it. He immediately shoots the arrow forward. The sight of the blazing arrow sends the wild boars into a state of sheer panic. Feeling like that isn't quite enough, Hoi Ion raises another arrow. Meanwhile, on the other side, the others manage to catch up to her just in time. "Belle Lucy, wait for us." But the sight before her eyes leaves her completely frozen. What on earth is this?" She can't seem to believe her own eyes. Hoi Ion is sitting there looking completely relaxed and at ease. He's calmly sipping a cup of tea in his hand. Staring in disbelief, the others whisper among themselves, "A fire arrow? Was that a fire arrow spell?" Belle Lucy quickly marches forward. "Who the heck is this guy wearing a suit and dress shoes to raid a rift? And he's sitting there drinking tea by a campfire." The thought alone irritates her. Smiling, the blonde-haired guy suggests, "Maybe he's a streamer." Their voices buzz with speculation. "You know, the ones who live stream inside rifts like this. That actually makes sense. He probably followed another guild in here and got lost." Hearing this, Belle Lucy lets out a sigh of frustration. "Hey, idiot, it's dangerous here. This isn't some place for civilians to hang out. Get out of here right now." Even with people suddenly showing up, Hoi Ion remains completely unbothered. He treats them like they're invisible and goes back to sipping his tea. This drives Belle Lucy's blood pressure through the roof. Did he just completely ignore me?" Unable to take it anymore, she snaps, "Hey, when someone is talking to you, you're supposed to—" But before she can finish, her teammates shout in panic, "Wait, look over there, Master, watch out!" Startled by their warnings, Belle Lucy spins around. A horde of monsters has completely surrounded them. Enemies! The sight immediately sends everyone into a panic. They frantically scramble into defensive stances. "Damn it, there are too many of them! Where the hell did they all come from?" These monsters are blood bandits level 230. As more and more of them swarm in, Belle Lucy shouts, "Everyone get into position now!" With that, the guild members instantly prepare for battle. Realizing how bad the situation is, someone yells, "Watch both sides! Be careful!" A lot of them are armed. The monster's moves push Belle Lucy past her limit. Infuriated, she bolts forward with blinding speed, leaping straight into the fray. Clearly, these monsters are no match for her. No need to worry about that. Just then, a teammate screams a warning, "Sis, look up!" Belle Lucy looks up, her eyes widening in shock. It seems she hadn't anticipated this development at all. What the hell? Dozens of monsters are aiming their bows right at them. Realizing they've walked straight into a trap, terror grips the group. There must be hundreds of them. We're completely surrounded. What do we do now? Guild leader. After a brief moment of silence, Hoi-on lets out a quiet sigh. This only infuriates Belle Lucy further. She glares back at him. "What? You still haven't run? Are you insane? Do you really think this is the time to be sipping tea? Are you blind? Run." Meanwhile, Hoi-on calmly thinks to himself, "It seems feasible." Just then, the monsters launch another fierce attack. Everything happens so fast that Belle Lucy is completely helpless. A rain of thousands of arrows pours down on them. Damn it! Just when everyone thinks this is the end and gives up all hope, a faint light slowly begins to glow. Hoi-on remains sitting calmly staring at the teacup in his hand as he observes the mana inside his thermos. Manipulating it is simple enough. The hard part is casting. To cast this skill at the level I want, I need a massive amount of mana. But at my current level, I can't fully control it yet. If my assumption is wrong, just attempting to cast this skill might knock me unconscious. But what if the spells I'm using aren't actually skills? Just as that thought crossed his mind, as sudden currents of energy swirled around the magic circle he created, Hoi-on felt a change from within. The tumbler in his hand slowly floated up into the air and a bright blue light enveloped the entire area. Belle Lucy instinctively shielded her eyes. Sensing that something was off, she looked to the side in confusion, and she wasn't the only one. Everyone was completely baffled. Why didn't anything happen? As it turned out, Hoi-on had erected a massive fortress wall completely blocking all the arrows from earlier. This sight left Belle Lucy utterly astounded. What? Is this alchemy? I've never heard of or seen anything like this. If there's a skill that can create a wall like that, then... While she was still speaking, Hoi-on suddenly announced, "That's not a skill. What I'm using is..." His words made her freeze. Clenching his fist with a confident smirk, Hoi-on muttered, "The essence of magic." In that instant, time itself seemed to stand still. Everyone was safe, but Hoi-on's words left them utterly bewildered. Whispers and murmurs broke out instantly. Who is he? An alchemist? Using alchemy to summon a wall this huge, that means... Isn't an alchemist just a production class? Why is he even here? Belle Lucy was just as confused. What the essence of magic? Hoi-on smiled, looking at his palm. It allows me to alter the form of objects. If I can manipulate its mana, honestly, it's more like alchemy than magic. Right then, a sudden tremor shook the ground, catching everyone's attention. A guild member inside gasped at the sight. He frantically yelled out, "The flank monsters are pouring in from the flank." Panic surged through the crowd at the sight. With the enemy closing in from the flank, Hoi-on took notice and thought, "Well, looks like I should go back to drinking my tea." His comment left Belle Lucy completely dumbfounded. Meanwhile, her guildmates immediately charged forward, shouting, "Attack charge! Bring it down!" Seeing the situation, Belle Lucy immediately readied her weapon and entered her combat stance. "Alchemist, get back behind us, quick." But seeing that Hoi-on wasn't moving at all, she looked closer and realized he had summoned a bow. "A bow!" she gasped. At the same time, another guy holding his comrade was desperately crying out, "Someone help, please! Is there a healer? He's badly hurt!" Seeing the monster lunging at them from behind, the guy despaired, I can't dodge this." Suddenly, Hoi-on's arrow struck, sending the monster flying backward. The guy was stunned, his face frozen in disbelief. With just one arrow, since when did we have such a powerful archer? Only then did Belle Lucy realize that the arrow came from Hoi-on. She let out a long sigh, her face full of disbelief. He's an archer. Then what the hell was that wall earlier? Before she could even process it, Hoi-on channeled mana into his next arrow and fired it directly at the monster. She froze in shock. A fire arrow! Witnessing this rapid sequence of events made her even more bewildered. And now magic too, archery, alchemy, and magic. Just who on earth is this guy? Perhaps her view of Hoi-on had completely shifted. Sometime later, all the monsters in the area had been cleared out. Everyone was happily discussing their victory when a scout quickly stepped forward to report. Guild leader, I've checked the perimeter. There are no more enemies in sight. Hearing this, Belle Lucy wiped her sweat with a sigh of relief. Good, well done. She then cast a quiet glance at Hoyan's relaxed figure. That annoying jerk. Seriously, he's so frustrating, hanging out in this rift all by himself dressed like that. And he didn't even bother to answer any of my questions. He doesn't even look the slightest bit tired. In reality, though, Hoyan was just putting on a front. This only made Bella Lucy even more curious. Blushing slightly, she thought, but I have to admit, if it weren't for him, we'd probably all be dead by now. I wonder, is he a player? But I've never heard of a player like him. He's actually pretty handsome. Maybe I should thank him. No, wait, he totally ignored me earlier. Just as she was debating this, Hoyan turned his gaze toward her. His gaze immediately made Belle Lucy blush. She quickly looked away to avoid his eyes. What? Why is he looking at me? Damn it, did I stare at him for too long? It's not like I was looking at you because I like you or anything. Why does he keep staring? Does he want to have tea with me or something? Well, if he really wants to, I guess I could have a cup. Suddenly, Hoyan called out, Hey, Belle Lucy! She immediately whipped her head around with an expectant look. But Hoyan just gave her a cold stare and declared, Even if you look at me like that, I don't have any tea to share with you. His words instantly made her freeze. Sometime later, drones were continuously broadcasting live footage of the area. They flew close to the mysterious dimensional anomalies. Showing absolutely no fear, a reporter smiled into the camera and delivered the latest news. Yes, this is Arcana Daily News. I am broadcasting live from the Rift in Russia. The entire world is closely watching this update as it features the highest-tier boss monster we've ever seen. Just then, a pink-haired woman stepped up with a smile to chat. This rift is called the Outskirts of the Territory, right? He nodded in confirmation. Yes, that is correct. This is the first of the 3 rifts in the update. Apparently, there are hundreds of rifts in the outskirts, and they all need to be cleared before we can proceed to... Another rift, along with several others, has appeared on the outskirts of the territory. The Count's domain is expanding, but the Count's castle remains completely impenetrable. Impenetrable indeed. Shining, Gion, and the other guilds are currently inside the rift. Which guild will be the first to clear it? The first to do so will receive the title of clearing the outskirts of the territory. They will surely receive global recognition. The director sitting behind his computer screen is lost in thought when his subordinate rushes in with a smile. Director, how about some coffee? He turns around, surprised. Ah, you're here. Get in quick before the snow gets in. Puzzled, the subordinate says, It's so dark in here. Are you a bat or something? He sighs and shakes his head. Leave me alone, I like it this way. So how is the rift report looking? Do we have any video? The subordinate quickly reports, Everyone is currently around the central area. Shining is the fastest right now. Hearing this, the crowd keeps staring at the computer screen. Really? Then pick a spot close to Shining, and get ready to interview them the moment they come out. The subordinate chuckles, stepping closer. Understood, but it might take a lifetime to beat this. Did Daejeon get anything on camera? The scene before his eyes leaves him completely frozen. Meanwhile, the reporter continues reporting, so, continuing with, the subordinate quickly rushes outside. Seeing this, the reporter sighs. Apologies, our assistant just passed in front of the lens. He must have been in a rush to use the restroom. Just then, the director bursts outside and screams, It's cleared! The outskirts of the territory have been completed. Follow him. The blue rift means someone has already cleared it. This leaves the reporters completely bewildered. Who is it, Gion? The director quickly urges, I don't know. There are too many trees and Daejeon can't see. Move, hurry. The constant shouting urges everyone to move even faster. On this side, the young employee is still running forward. Sensing that something is off, he stops with a start. He quickly calls his boss. Director! The director quickly answers. Yes, what is it? Do you see it? Do you see the rift on the camera? No, which guild is it? Guy in Shining, watching Belle Lucy and her group walk out one after another, the employee says in utter disbelief. No, it's Burger. Hearing this news startles the director. The Burger Guild, the one ranked 32nd. Still surprised, the employee nods. Yes, it's Burger. Leonie is here. I've sent the video. The director still finds it hard to believe. Burger cleared it first. They went into the outskirts of the territory while Shining is still in the center, but how do they look so fine? Then Hajun's figure appears. This leaves the employee completely puzzled. Wait, isn't that guy Korean? The director is startled by this. Burger is a European guild. Why is there a Korean there? At the same time, other reporters immediately rush over. The Blue Rift is here, the first to clear it. The employee quickly reports back to the director. Wait! The other reporters are crowding them. I'm going to try and get an interview. Hello? The director is still shouting, I don't know what's going on. But the employee rushes over and calls out, catching Hajun's attention. Excuse me, could we get a quick interview? You look Korean. What is your relationship with the Burger Guild? What happened inside the rift? You just walked out of the cleared rift, Hajun says coldly. Get lost. Thinking his ears are playing tricks on him, the reporter quickly asks, Pardon, Hajun's face is now filled with sheer rage. This is the limit of my patience. With that, he turns around and walks away, leaving the reporter standing there in a daze. In truth, Hajun is just thinking helplessly to himself, it's freezing out here. Meanwhile, the crowd of reporters continues to swarm forward. Leader Leone of Berger, wait, can we get a quick interview? Congratulations on clearing the dungeon first. No one expected you to complete this task ahead of everyone else. How do you feel? Is there any difference between this rift and the others? Those around them quickly warn the crowd, please stand back. Belle Lucy walks past holding her head. No comment. This leaves the reporter bewildered, turning his head in confusion. Leader. She keeps walking forward. No comment. They should interview that bastard instead. Her behavior leaves her teammates completely bewildered. Leader, we completed it first. We should at least do an interview. But she doesn't care at all. I have nothing to say. The more Belle Lucy thinks about it, the angrier she gets. That annoying bastard, he threw all our plans out the window and cleared the dungeon all on his own. Where the hell is he anyway? The blonde teammate turns around to report. He came out first and told me he was heading home. This news makes Belle Lucy freeze instantly. Her voice rings out, making everyone on site freeze. What, he already left? Why? He was the one who defeated all of them. And I told him he could do the interview. So what happened in the end? He just up and left. Does he have any idea what an incredible achievement it is to clear this rift first? Blondie quickly spoke up to soothe her. Hey, calm down. I'm sure he has a good reason. But she was still absolutely furious. Good reason my foot in interview can completely change the value of an entire guild. Everyone is keeping their eyes on this event, but even as she was losing her temper, a reporter suddenly turned around and shouted, From the Blue Rift, the second guild to clear it is Gaon along with Taemin. As he slowly stepped out with his teammates, his gaze grew incredibly cold. Guildmaster Taemin of the Gaon Guild, please let us get an interview. Seeing the crowd made him a bit surprised. The Berserker Guild. But the reporters quickly swarmed them. We're from MBS. Congratulations on being the second guild to complete the raid. He was still left wondering, wait, we weren't the first to clear it. Meanwhile, upon seeing Taemin Bell, Lucy turned away in annoyance and walked off. Those words left everyone completely frozen. What did Lucy just say? Did you get that on recording? The scene shifts to the Gaon Guild's base camp. Inside the room, Taemin is eating ramen with Cheonmin, while a video of Belle Lucy plays on the screen. It seems Gaon isn't the only top-tier guild in Korea. Hearing this, he gasped, Did she really say that? Taemin grew even more furious. See, I told you so. She looked down her nose at me when she said that. She cleared it first, and that was really all she had to say for her interview. They barely even beat us to the finish line. Cheonmin sighed and muttered, Gaon isn't the only capable guild in Korea. Hearing this, she turned around in a rage and shouted, I was actually starting to think highly of Berserker, but then she had to go and spew that utter garbage. Is there even a single guild in Korea that can match Gaon? Damn it, I've completely lost my appetite now. The guy next to him immediately perked up. Really, can I eat it then? Hey, you already finished your own. Meanwhile, Cheonmin spoke up. I think she meant they ran into a Korean player inside that rift. This instantly caught his attention. Who's some guys from the Mythology Guild like the ones ranked 41st in the world? But he shook his head and said, No, I don't think so. They are still inside the rift. This got him incredibly excited. Really? That's awesome, isn't it? Then, who on earth could it be? Cheonmin's face cracked into a wry smile. I'm not so sure. A Korean player stronger than Gaon? I can only think of one person. The scene shifts to Hoyeon's familiar house. Inside the bathroom, he was enjoying a relaxing bath after an exhausting battle, feeling his very soul being cleansed. A warm bath is the absolute best. This is what true happiness is. Hoyeon continued to dry his hair, a ridiculously blissful look plastered on his face. After a good bath, it feels like I've been completely reborn. Now I should get some sleep. Wait, what is this? It's not what I think it is, right? Please tell me it's not. Please tell me I'm wrong. But of course, Granfell's personality immediately took over, opening the door to start cleaning. I was only gone for a short while, and yet the house is already covered in dust. Hoyon thought in utter despair. Please just rest for once, you absolute psychopath. A short while later, the massive pile of dishes was now neatly washed and stacked. Hoyon stood to the side, completely drained. He even went ahead and cooked a flawless meal. This is insane, Hoyon thought as he took a sip of tea. He turned to check the system notifications. Well, I don't even feel like sleeping anymore anyway. Notifications kept rolling in. A sharp sword level 180. Is this really all the loot I got? Nothing here is actually useful to me right now. But at level 86, it looks like I've gained 19 levels. If I had cleared the highest difficulty rift, the rewards would have been way better than this. But on the flip side, it's far too dangerous. Hoyon's eyes grew pensive. Magic consumes less mana than skills, meaning I can cast more of it. Plus, spells are much better than any of the active skills I currently possess. As he was mulling it over, the Granfell persona behind him suddenly interjected, "But your mana recovery speed is terribly slow." Hearing this, Hoyon had to nod in agreement. Well, there's not much we can do about that, since we don't have any accessories or gear that boost mana regeneration. Besides, from the very beginning, the Demon Hunter class has always had barely any perks. There isn't a single skill related to mana regeneration. If it hadn't been for that group, things would have been a lot worse. Especially that aggressive girl. I should probably thank them if I ever find out who they are. While he was still lost in thought, Granfell spoke up again. It is because of my own shortcomings. At those words, cold sweat began to drip down Hoyon's face. The Granfell persona had absolutely no concept of humility. If anyone dared to underestimate him, he would stop at nothing to prove them wrong. On the flip side, if someone highly overestimates him, he will push himself to meet their expectations and make them a reality. It suddenly makes me think of the character settings I wrote for him back then. While Hoyon was still processing this, Granfell declared, "The next rift we enter shall be the territory of the Count's family. I don't have time to relax. I can't just rely on magic alone. I need to do better in physical combat too, and I've already found the perfect trial for today." Hearing those words, Hoin suddenly realized, oh right. The players who fought alongside us, especially that short-haired girl with the dual daggers, she was the most impressive one. If I could copy that player's movements. But how? Raphael kept tapping on the system screen, but Hoin quickly reached out to stop him. "I don't know what you're doing, but stop it!" Just then, a system notification suddenly popped up. Physical conditioning. Today's goal: run 20 kilometers, do 1,000 push-ups, 500 pull-ups, and 300 jump squats. His eyes instantly lit up. Indeed, the basics are the most important. Hoin thought in sheer despair, I have a really bad feeling about this. But not wanting to waste any time, Raphael immediately got to work starting with the dishes. Once I'm done with these, I will jump straight into training. Hoin sighed in despair. Then when on earth are we going to sleep? The scene then shifts to late at night with Raphael putting on a suit. He dashed forward, his expression dead serious. Meanwhile, on the radio, this is the midnight broadcast, though it is quite late. We still have plenty of listeners with us. Hoin groaned in sheer exhaustion. Please, just let me sleep. The news continued. How has everyone's day been? We have some breaking news. Currently, 95% of the territory's outskirts has been conquered, and soon the Count's domain will be unlocked for raids. According to our latest reports, the destruction rate of the Count's domain has suddenly spiked to 60%. Even though it hasn't officially opened yet at this rate, the Count's domain might completely collapse. As a result, experts are expressing grave concerns over this matter. Meanwhile, Taemin and his guild members were watching the news. His face instantly contorted with irritation. This is ridiculous. It's only been a single day. How could the destruction rate already be at 60%? That's impossible. Cheonmin, standing right next to him, quickly chimed in. The shorter the time limit we have to clear it, the stronger the monsters inside will become. He looked completely perplexed. But why is it suddenly moving this fast? Does this mean the monsters inside have already become much stronger? He shook his head and replied, I'm not sure. I need to look into this further. The scene then shifts to the camp of the Arcana Daily, where everyone is still dealing with a massive headache. The director slammed his hand on the table in frustration. There has to be a reason for this. Monsters don't just suddenly get stronger out of nowhere. Everyone in the room sighed in unison. Even if you say that, boss, how are we supposed to find out? Even the analysts from the top guilds are completely clueless. He quickly reminded them, we have to find the cause no matter what. This isn't just about our jobs or the company anymore. If that rift collapses, we are all done for. Once the monsters start pouring out of that rift, every single citizen and player in this region is as good as dead. Meanwhile, Hoenn was reading the latest news report. The Count's domain rift is showing signs of collapsing, and the cause remains unknown. This made Hoenn fall deep into thought. This is unprecedented. It's no wonder nobody knows the reason why, because this is information you can only find in Arcana. He grew increasingly anxious. We have to hurry. Vampires are creatures that can share their authority through their blood. Count Oska shared his authority with the monsters in the outskirts of his domain. When they die, that power naturally returns to its rightful master. That Count has already distributed his power to the monsters inside his domain. That's why those monsters have grown so strong and the destruction rate has spiked as well. This must be the reason. Thinking up to this point, Hoenn fell deep into thought. Wait. If that's the case, if we raid the Count's domain... While he was still lost in thought, Raphael seemed to realize something. There's a risk that the Count's castle rift will collapse instantly. Count Oska. No, he doesn't deserve that title. Oska, a true noble does not take back what he has already bestowed upon others. I will be the one to execute him, the man who tarnished the honor of the nobility. These words left Hoenn completely speechless. Okay, that was incredibly cool, Raphael, but what about our sleep? You can sleep all you want once you're dead. Meanwhile, the scene transitions to the spatial rift at the Count's domain. The recommended level is 350 to 400. In front of the rift, Jukong cleared his throat and waved to the camera. Hello everyone, welcome back to my Undying Determination channel. It's your BJ Jukang here once again. Currently I am broadcasting live from Russia. Comments immediately started flooding the screen. What kind of stupid name is that? And look at those views, LOL. Ignoring the comments, he continued with his update. The destruction rate of the Count's domain has reached 70%. We have less than 5 hours before this rift explodes. Even though it's currently 3:48 in the morning, there are still so many guilds gathered here. Standing right in front of the rift even though it's incredibly late. But wait, there is some very interesting news coming up next. It was time for Jukong's news brief. The comment section kept scrolling. We're so bored of this already. There's a reason nameless streamers stay nameless. It seemed he wasn't popular at all, but Jukong completely ignored them and pointed toward the entrance of the Count's domain. Unlike the outskirts, which had up to 200 rifts, the Count's domain only has about 30 entrances, which is far fewer. Because of this, multiple guilds have entered the exact same spatial rift. However, experience points and loot will be distributed based on contribution. Hearing this, the viewers grew even more annoyed. Stop lecturing us already. Did you draw that yourself? This guy is really putting in the effort. Jukong kept reminding everyone that which guild entered which rift together was crucial. He said we might even witness a clash between the Rank 1 and Rank 2 guilds. The comments flooded in. Just as expected, why would the Rank 1 and Rank 2 guilds fight each other? Do you think they're stupid? Look behind you. Isn't that Nam Cholman that's gone? Hearing this, Jukong turned around to look. Where is he? Suddenly, he reached his hand out. Hello, everyone! Seeing him, they immediately got the hint and bowed. Aha, there he is! Taemin turned around in surprise and asked, Hey, brother, have you checked out the surroundings? How is it looking? Meanwhile, Jukong followed Chulmin. Ignoring the camera, Chulmin quickly shared his analysis. I've already checked everything. Competition is inevitable because there are too few rifts. Hearing this, Taemin nodded in agreement. As long as we don't clash with Shining, we should be fine. With dark circles under his eyes, he continued, Don't worry, Shining went north, so I think they'll clash with the Union Guild. This shocked Taemin. Wait, they're the Rank 2 Guild. The comments kept popping up. Rank 1 and Rank 2 are actually going to fight. That's insane. What on earth is this guy talking about? Look, another streamer is broadcasting this. Chulman continued. I guess this is their chance to take the #1 spot. The Berserker Guild is in the same area as the Second Sun and Bohemian Guilds. Hearing this, Taemin was startled. Two of them, it looks like a lot of guilds are wary of them after that first battle. The comments section exploded. Look at Berserker. They seem so scared. Laud's expression right now is hilarious. Looks like there's going to be a lot of action to watch. Seeing everyone leave, Gukong felt utterly helpless. Wait, don't leave, guys. Just then, he noticed some strange movement. It drew everyone's attention, and Taemin's face twisted in anger. Look at those bastards! What are you guys doing here? These 8 people were the rankers of the 4th-ranked guild Inazuma. Their leader wore a surprised smile. This man was Hisagi Kazuma, a level 376 rank 6 player. The guildmaster of Inazuma, he quickly shot back, well, what a coincidence! To think Gon is right in front of the rift we were planning to enter. Seeing this, Gukong was dumbfounded. Hisagi from the Inazuma guild. The comments section exploded. Inazuma from Japan. What, Inazuma and Gaon are entering the same rift? It's Japan versus Korea. Taemin's face twisted in fury. Are you guys still stubbornly refusing to set up a branch in Korea? I'm guessing your plane just landed, didn't it? With a forced smile, he replied, flying all the way to Russia is still 100 times better than setting up a branch in Korea. By now, Taemin was so angry he was gritting his teeth. You want to go at it? Hisagi didn't back down, firing right back. Gaon is absolutely nothing. The two sides immediately faced off in front of everyone. This situation made Gukong, watching from the sidelines, was overjoyed. This is huge if I can get exclusive rights to this. Just then, reporters rushed forward. Gaon and Inazuma are facing off. They are clearly bitter rivals. Is this scoop for real? Over on the other side, the Shining Guild is clashing with the Union Guild. And right here, Gaon is going head-to-head with Inazuma. The battle at this rift is absolutely insane. Channel DPL is broadcasting live. Please give us a statement. Seeing things get out of hand, Chulman quickly reached out to hold Taemin back. I know how you feel. But right now, the rift's decay level is a major issue. A fight between our two guilds will only end in mutual destruction. Just then, a voice echoed in his ear. Inazuma is the 4th-ranked guild with Gaon right behind them at 5th. It's a rivalry between their two guild leaders, Hisagi Kazuma ranked 6th, and Nam Taemin trailing behind at 11th. What a dramatic showdown between Korea and Japan watching this unfold. The two brothers' emotions completely boiled over. Brother, fine, we got here first, but backing down now would be too humiliating. Let's tear them to pieces. He immediately pointed forward. Taemin didn't waste any time either, stepping forward to prepare for action. Charge rank 5 Gon and rank 4. Inazuma are heading toward the Eastern Rift. The reporters kept reporting live. Right now, both the Gaon and Inazuma guilds have entered the rift together. The two guilds are well-known rivals. With Gaon from Korea at number 5 and Inazuma from Japan at number 4, their rankings and nationalities are drawing massive attention. At the northernmost rift, the rank 1 and rank 2 guilds Shining and Union are facing off. At the southern rift, we have the 30th-ranked Berserker Guild, the 7th-ranked Second Sun, and the 3rd-ranked Bohemian Guild. On another note, the decay level has reached 80%. This filled people all over the world with anxiety and fear. Inside the vast landscape, Hoyol sat there comfortably sipping a cup of tea. Hoyol had entered the Count's estate rift. The scene before him made him fall deep into thought. What I realized after the last rift is, running out of mana is incredibly dangerous. I need to find a way to use it efficiently throughout this fight. The key lies in alchemy-based magic, which allows me to reshape anything to my will. To start, I'll take a few loose stones on the ground and turn them into a teacup and a table. But the more complex and detailed the object, the more mana it drains, making them pretty useless in actual combat. Pushing too hard is just a death sentence anyway. But thinking about it, I did realize one thing. Those dangerous monsters are still spawning all over the place. Count Asuka's level 300 soldiers. Hoyan coldly raises his hand toward them. Is this the limit of the power your count granted you? How pathetic. He wipes out the monsters in an instant. The scene shifts, filling them with absolute dread. Hoyan's face tightens with annoyance as he mutters, "Go back to dust." With a sharp motion, he clenches his fist. As everything reverts to its original state, the world before him shatters into pieces, costing him almost 0 mana. Regression magic, that's what I call it. Yet Hoyan can't help but feel a bit cringe inside. Did I really need to give it such a dramatic name? Meanwhile, the scene shifts elsewhere. Taemin is still locked in fierce combat. He and his guild are busy clearing out all the monsters in the area. The more he thinks about it, the more irritated he gets. Deep within the Count's territory, something feels off. Why are there so few of them? I've only killed 10 of them so far on my way here. This doesn't make any sense. His subordinate quickly steps up to report. Chief, I scouted the area, and Inazuma's team is doing the same. She slowly takes off her hat. I don't think they've even killed 10 since they entered. Hearing this, he looks surprised. Is it the same on their side, too? Just then, Hisagi's familiar voice chimes in. Ever since we entered, we've been heading in opposite directions, yet both our teams have only killed a handful. Does that make any sense to you? Namtaemin turns around in annoyance, only to find Hisagi completely ignoring his scowl, casually continuing. It's surprisingly peaceful here, isn't it? Seeing how things are, the subordinate quickly slips away. Are they tracking me? Irritated, he snaps. Why do you keep acting like we're friends? Hisagi steps closer with a smirk. Man, I really don't get why you hate me so much, Temin. It honestly makes me want to kill you. He seems about to say more, but then, oh really? Suddenly a voice cuts in. Temin's attention is immediately drawn. Is that you? Cheonmin quickly reports, I'm almost finished analyzing the dungeon. Where are you right now? I can't seem to send the video feed. Turning away, he replies, right now I'm standing in some ruins. Looks like a plaza, I guess. This makes Cheonmin tense up. A plaza, the city plaza. Temin nods without hesitation. Yeah, why? Panic washes over Cheonmin's face as he desperately urges, get out of there right now, move. But just as the words leave his mouth, the ground beneath them shifts. The scene before them makes Temin freeze instantly. A legion of Count Asuka's level 350 soldiers has finally shown up. As the enemy's charge, panic erupts through the ranks. These aren't ordinary soldiers. They're level 350 knights. Holy crap, the monsters just keep coming. Everyone's anxiety spikes. Not just regular soldiers, but level 350 knights were totally screwed. Realizing how bad the situation is, Temin yells out a warning. We're surrounded. Everyone defensive positions. Prepare to engage. Beside him, Hisagi just lets out a dry chuckle as they look at the charging cavalry. His face pales slightly. Damn it. On open plains like this, a cavalry charge is several times more destructive. Even if we have tanks holding the front line, they'll still take fatal damage. What the hell do we do? Right at that moment, Hisagi steps up behind him. I'm not a big fan of this either, but you've got my back, right? As he speaks, the monsters lunge forward, triggering panicked screams. Chief, we've got enemies behind us too. Watching the relentless onslaught from all directions, despair sets in. No way. We're completely surrounded. Cheonmin's voice cracks through the static, warning him, Temin, are you even listening to me? The Heavens Union Guild, Satsev, has already suffered heavy casualties from a cavalry ambush. Don't try to fight them head-on in the open fields. Retreat and lure them into a narrow alleyway. These words grab his attention. Retreat. Where the hell are we supposed to go? Just then, a mounted knight charges right at him, launching an attack. Suddenly, the scene shifts. A magic circle appears out of nowhere. While Temin is still trying to process what's happening, he realizes the battlefield has completely changed. One after another, the mounted monsters are being struck down by some strange counterattacks. Everything happened so fast that Temin didn't even have time to react. What the hell is that, a stone wall, not a pillar? All of this left the crowd completely frozen in shock. His face grew increasingly puzzled. Who could it be? Right then, the familiar footsteps of Ho-Yan approached. Catching a glimpse of this on camera, Cheon-min-ha gasped in shock. That person, could it be? But that's impossible. Of course, Tai-min and Hee-sung still had no idea who this guy was. Ho-Yan stood there casually, slicking back his hair with effortless swag. His familiar face made Cheon-min-ha immediately recognize him. Meanwhile, on the other side, Joe-gang was still happily live-streaming. Hello, everyone, it's Ju-gang, the shrimp here. I had to run to the bathroom, so I'm a bit late. Now I'll continue following the Gown Guild. Wait, are these footprints left by them? Even though they were made like 5 minutes ago. The chat was absolutely blowing up. Dude, I can literally smell poop through your stream. All the other streamers are already broadcasting the fight. I only stayed because I felt bad for you. There are already way too many streams showing the Gown Guild. Don't you think you should be a bit more creative? Why don't you go follow Hee-sung's side? Tons of people are multitasking and watching multiple streams at once anyway. These comments left him completely dumbfounded. What, seriously? Wow, you guys sure know how to stream better than me. Fine, next time I'll track Inazuma instead. Suddenly, a massive earthquake shook the ground, leaving him utterly confused. The chat went wild. What the hell is that? Why don't you go check it out? My ears are literally about to explode from that noise. You can hear it on other streams too. Comments kept flashing before his eyes. Run, Ju-gang, go check it out. He hurriedly sprinted forward. All right, I'll go check it out right now. Meanwhile, on the battlefront, Taemin and Hee-sung still couldn't believe their eyes. Both of them stammered, looking at the stone pillars sprouting up from every corner of the battlefield. Stricken with curiosity, Tae-min turned his head to look back at Ho-yeon. Who on earth is that guy? How did he do that? And without chanting a single spell. Just how much mana does he have, and seriously dress pants and leather shoes? He didn't even bother to bring any gear. Who is this guy? While Hee-sung was lost in thought, his teammate suddenly yelled, "Guild leader! The enemy is advancing between the pillars!" He looked at the unfolding situation. He tried to reassure himself. No, wait. The stone pillars are actually holding back their horses. On the other side, Tae-min sighed, face-palming. Ugh, I'll thank you later. At the same time, he activated his special skill Barbarian's Rage, which boosted his attack power and reduced incoming damage. He kept his eyes locked on the mounted monsters charging in as they swarmed the area. With those stone pillars in place, we actually stand a chance at winning this. Without a moment's hesitation, Tae-min charged straight into the fray. His devastating strikes were incredibly powerful, wiping out the cavalry units in a matter of seconds. Hee-sung wasn't about to just stand by either. He immediately grabbed his weapon. Now's our chance, wipe them all out. With that, both sides clashed, engaging in a fierce battle against the giant monsters. Even though Jugang was stunned, he still managed to capture the entire fight on video. Staring at Ho-yeon in disbelief, he stammered, What? What just happened? That support was insane. Is he actually a mage? As soon as he appeared, the chat went wild. Who is this guy? He summoned all of that without chanting. He looked so badass in that suit. Just then, Jugang noticed something else. At that moment, Ho-yeon calmly raised his hand toward a cavalry monster, leaving everyone speechless. His expression remained utterly composed. Restoration magic. Seeing Ho-yeon effortlessly deal with the cavalry monster left Jugang utterly shell-shocked. He's taking on that entire cavalry unit all by himself. Guys, are you seeing this? I honestly can't tell if what I'm seeing right now is even real, but the chat kept spamming replies. What the actual hell? So that noise from earlier was him. That skill is insane. Is that actually real? Holy crap, does anyone know what level this guy is? Ho-yeon slowly walked toward the monsters. He pulled out a small knife which sent another shockwave through the chat. A dagger, wait, isn't he a mage? What the hell is going on now? In his hand was a silver dagger with a durability of 100 out of 100. He sighed, thinking to himself, I really don't want to waste its durability. His hesitation left the viewers even more baffled. Look at that glare. It's like he's actually enjoying this. He's literally playing with them. Meanwhile, Ho-yeon completely ignored his surroundings, lost in thought. What would happen if I interfere with the mana of this dagger to transform it and then restore it back to its original state? Wouldn't its durability return to full as well? Just like when I turned that stone into a teacup. It only possessed the durability of a teacup. If I use reversal magic, it'll just turn back into a basic stone with no stats. If reversal magic really brings an object back to its original state, then the dagger in his hand instantly transformed into a silver awl. Although its durability was a weak 1 out of 1, it possessed the ability to deal fatal damage. The scene just now left everyone watching the live stream in shock. Did that newly transformed dagger just come alive or something? Seeing his plan succeed made Ho-yeon thrilled. It was actually possible. Notifications kept popping up congratulating him on leveling up. He used his power again to cast reversal magic and the awl instantly turned back into a silver dagger. Ho-yeon let out an excited laugh. Perfect. Its durability was fully restored. Now he wouldn't have to pay a single penny for repairs. The chat exploded with comments. A one-hit kill. What kind of crazy dagger is that? Are you sure that's even a real dagger? Watching from the side, Tae-min was left completely stunned. All around him, people were still chatting happily with each other. Great job, you did amazing. You guys fought incredibly well. Now let's grab all the loot we want. At the same time, Chulmin also recognized him. Tae-min, that guy is. But Tae-min suddenly interrupted. I know, I heard everything you said earlier. Seeing him in real life makes me want him to join us even more. We absolutely can't let him join another guild, especially since the Inazuma guys saw everything too. The countdown starts now. We need to see what kind of offer we can make him. While Ho-yeon was still sipping his tea, Park Hui-gang's voice rang out. Excuse me, hello, I'm... Park Hui-gang, could I interview you for a moment? Looking at Ho-yeon's cold face, the chat section went wild. Oh my god, look at his eyes. He doesn't look like someone who relies on divine power or mana. Go watch the next part. It's absolutely insane. If he was the one behind all those noises, then he must have been the one who wiped out the entire cavalry. Right then, the crowd spotted Hoyol and cheered in excitement. There he is! You were absolutely amazing! Are you Korean or Japanese? Are you in a guild? If not, why don't you join our Inazuma guild? Did you really attack all by yourself? What's your name? Tae-min quickly stepped forward. Move aside, please. Hello there, I've heard a lot about you. I'm Nam Tae-min from the Gaon Guild. I actually sent you a message earlier to recruit you to our guild. Hoyol coldly spoke up. This is highly disrespectful. His words made everyone freeze, unable to believe his attitude. Therefore, I will take no questions. Step aside. The entire scene was broadcasted live, causing the chat section to explode. Oh my god, look at him, he's so cool! Please at least tell us what your class is. As time went on, Hoyol's face appeared all over social media. Mysterious player refuses interview due to lack of manners. Breaking news: Shining Guild is the first to clear the Count's estate. Rank 2 player Lot has finally reached level 400. Experts analyzed that the second cataclysm played a major role. Meanwhile, the mysterious player refusing an interview due to a lack of manners remains the hot topic. Nam Tae-min of the Gaon Guild was also in the news. The scene shifts to the Shining Guild's base. Everyone was sighing in exhaustion while Lot was still reviewing the video of the recent battle. After thinking for a moment, he suddenly turned around and asked, "What do you guys think?" Camilla smiled from the side. "Who knows, I'm just an archer." Dimitri, on the other hand, reacted quite strongly. "Even if you ask 100 times, I still wouldn't know the answer, Lot. Lot, a famous guy like you wouldn't understand my feelings. You have no idea how hard I had to work just to secure this date. Only for this hours-long meeting to get in the way, just because of some guy like him. I had to cancel my precious golden date." The data screen displayed a picture of Hoyol. Looking at his face, Camilla was highly pleased. "He's quite handsome, isn't he? Why hesitate so much? We just need to bring him over." Hearing this, Dimitri immediately complained, "Right, you're just jealous of him, aren't you?" Startled, he turned his head around. "Jealous?" Dimitri continued. "You'd think everyone would be talking about our conquest of the Count's estate, but instead they're just gossiping about that guy on the internet." Camilla, sitting on the side, quickly chimed in, "Oh, really? But we still got a lot of attention, didn't we?" "The captain is quite ambitious, too." Lot spoke up. "It's completely normal for the media to make a fuss whenever a newcomer appears. Their only goal is to boost viewership ratings anyway." The woman next to him nodded in agreement. "Anyway, if there's nothing else to discuss, I'll be taking my leave," Dimitri said dejectedly. "I even booked a whole hotel lounge. Just for our date. I can't wait any longer. I'm leaving." After stepping outside, everyone happily went their separate ways. Inside the room, only Hoyol sat there quietly. Seeing him so deep in thought, Jessie slowly walked over to him and asked, "What's wrong?" Looking at Hoyol's face, she couldn't help but be startled. "It's amazing. It looks a bit like magic, but somehow different." She was Jessie Haynes, level 397. The rank 4 player, a high-ranking mage of the Shining Guild. Hearing her remark, he found it quite interesting. "Do you know about magic as well?" Her face turned thoughtful, making Hoyol ponder. No one noticed that Jessie had an intrigued, interested smile. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the Bohemian Guild headquarters. Seeing Hoyol appear, everyone was extremely surprised. Leonie Bellucci's voice suddenly rang out. "What did I tell you? I told you he is anything but ordinary." Everyone kept discussing this. "But what did I even say, sis? Please calm down and wrap yourself in a blanket. You'll catch a cold if you keep this up." "Are you blind?" "I've been taking screenshots this whole time." Inside the Inazuma Guild headquarters, a voice came through the phone. "That silver-haired guy. We must recruit him to our side." Hearing this, Hizagi smiled and nodded, accepting the order. Meanwhile, a reporter holding a document folder spoke, "Hello, viewers of Arcana. We have a lot of viewers joining us today. The Count's territory has been cleared. Following that, there is currently a dispute outside the Count's territory between the Shining Guild and Unite Under Heaven. However, with their overwhelming power, Shining Guild won the battle and secured first place. Now only the Count's fortress remains. The destruction rate is currently 72%, and players from all over the world are rushing here. The rift is on the verge of collapsing, so the situation here is extremely tense. If the fortress rift collapses, we might have to say goodbye to Russia. Good luck to everyone. The players here are already sitting and waiting." Continuing with today's player profile, look at this, he isn't even carrying a weapon. Wearing only a coat and a suit, he really isn't wearing any equipment or accessories. Perhaps he has mana-infused equipment that we don't know of, which is why it looks so strange on screen. Or maybe clearing the rift was so effortless for him because his strength is simply on another level. Is that the reason why he doesn't wear any equipment? Hearing this report left Hoyol a bit speechless. "I just couldn't afford to buy any." The reporter continued, He wiped out the enemies with just a snap of his fingers. Is that even possible? We will ask our expert Park Nambong. The man named Nambong smiled and shared his thoughts. The situation was already turning favorable before he arrived. Everyone knew the main issue was the enemy's mobility, so he completely turned the tables. His quick decision-making practically saved Gon and Inazuma. Hoyeol was once again speechless, thinking that was literally all I could do back then. He kept praising him nonstop, and then, when he just stood there and watched, it was because he was being extremely considerate of Gaon and Inazuma. It was as if he was saying, now is your time to shine. How can someone be so incredibly confident? He is truly amazing. Hoyeol didn't even know what to say to these people anymore. I was actually just out of mana. At least they didn't call me a fool. Anyway, I managed to obtain a rare item, the very first one since becoming a player. The system prompt appeared again to analyze it. Necklace soaked in cursed blood. Sealed effect. This effect has been sealed by a vampire's curse. To activate its effect, it must be purified first. After reading this, Hoyeol smiled to himself. A cursed item, also known as a demonic item. Once the curse is lifted, a random effect will be released. In short, this is a gamble. It's the kind of item most players would just throw away. Rather than going through the trouble of lifting the curse, it's much better to just get another item. But there is a more effective way to use a cursed item. Hoyeol quietly recalled the exorcism ritual, invite the demon into your mind. Using exorcism, one of the two exclusive skills of a demon hunter. By using this item as a sacrifice, the effect of the exorcism ritual allows one to attack the demon without harming the host's body. Those were just his thoughts. But by using a sacrificial offering, I can invite a demon to invade my mind. It's similar to the abnormal status effect of demonic possession, isn't it? Even though there's a risk of the demon taking control of me, if I can fight it within my own mind, I'll have a massive advantage. Right then a phone call came in from Nam Cheol-min. This surprised Hoyeol, and he couldn't help but feel puzzled. Why was he calling him? He couldn't help but imagine Nam Cheol-min yelling at him. How dare you insult the Guildmaster of Gaon like that? I'll sue you! This made Hoyeol anxious. No, if I pick up the phone now, I might end up saying something completely out of line. I need to hurry up and just send a polite text instead, asking him politely to drop the lawsuit. At the same time, Cha On-min and Tae-min were completely stunned to see the incoming text message. It was just 3 short lines. What is going on? This situation left the two of them completely stunned. Just like last time, huh? Talk about déjà vu. At Gaon headquarters, Cha On-min sighed in frustration. We haven't even finished dealing with the rift yet. Right then, Tae-min turned around to look at the news about Hoyeol on the TV. I only wish to apologize for my previous rudeness and compensate him. Noises keep coming from the screen. Excuse me? Over here. Are you Korean or Japanese? Are you in a guild? Seeing the reporters swarming around him surprised them both. They have absolutely no manners. It's like a fish market. Look at his eyes. He must be furious. But in reality, Hoyeol was just exhausted from running out of mana. Tae-min stared dejectedly at his phone. There's nothing we can say or do if he won't pick up the phone. Besides, Count Asakura's matter is more pressing right now. What's the progress on the destruction? 83%. Cha On-min nodded and said, Yes, I think we can rest for 10 minutes before heading there. Suddenly, an earthquake shook the area, catching them both completely off guard. He quickly turned around and blurted out, What on earth was that? Before Cha On-min could even process what was happening, an emergency alarm blared. Emergency alert. The Count's castle has suddenly collapsed. The rift's destruction rate was at around 80%. But unexpectedly, Russia is rapidly evacuating its citizens. Emergency broadcast. The Count's castle has collapsed and manifested in Russia. There are about 200 civilians in the immediate vicinity. The United States and Europe are urging Russia to close its borders. Players are... Tae-min also realized things were looking bad. It was the Count's castle, an incredibly eerie and misty scene unfolded before everyone's eyes. The terrifying sight sent chills down everyone's spine. Suddenly, the sound of familiar footsteps drew everyone's attention. Hoyeol looked up, staring straight ahead, and spoke. So it has collapsed. Everyone nearby quickly recognized him. Wait, that person! Isn't that the guy from the news? Is he planning to go over there? By himself, he's lost his mind. By now, Hoyeol was standing right in front of the massive stone statue. His gaze grew cold and irritated as he muttered under his breath, Damn statue. And just like that, Lee Hoyeol entered the Count's castle. Hoyeol couldn't hide his disgust, coldly criticizing, What an utterly hideous statue! To think a place like this is called a stronghold, though for those wretched vampires even a place like this is a luxury. Though deep down he was actually thinking, well, the Claudy family mansion is 10 times bigger than this, even if it's not actually my house. Meanwhile, the stone statue kept staring down at him with a judging gaze. That gaze made Ho-Yol tremble with fear on the inside. Did it hear what I said? Suddenly, the statue began to move, taking heavy steps toward him. The scene unfolding before them left the surrounding crowd utterly shocked. What's going on? The statue is actually moving. What? That giant thing looks like it's at least 10 meters tall. Then isn't that guy in serious danger? Should we try to help him, or should we just save ourselves and run? At the same time, standing face to face with this giant monster, Ho-Yol didn't show the slightest hint of fear. He coldly raised 2 fingers and swept them downward, causing the entire body of the monster to shatter into pieces in an instant. Everything happened so fast that the members of the Shining Guild watching were left completely dumbfounded. They quickly turned to each other in disbelief. What was that noise just now? It sounded like it came from the castle, kind of like the noise from that video we watched. Seeing Jesse suddenly dash forward, everyone was caught completely off guard. Jesse, where are you going? We're about to make our move and head in. Don't just run off on your own like that. But Jesse Haynes completely ignored everyone's shouts and kept dashing forward at full speed. Meanwhile, the crowd gathered in front of the Count's castle were still in absolute disbelief. Wait, did he just... with a single blow? On the other side, Ho-Yol secretly let out a sigh of relief. Phew, it was just a slightly oversized rock after all. I've had plenty of experience breaking rocks before, so something like this isn't really a big deal. Outwardly, however, he maintained his cold, aloof expression, saying, "What a monument of pathetic quality, miserable in its material structure and even more miserable as a work of art. They placed a piece of trash in this garden as if it were something to be proud of, something worth showing off." He was completely speechless at his own words. Wow, that was incredibly harsh. Just then, a shout echoed from behind, drawing Ho-Yol's attention. A crowd of players appearing out of nowhere immediately rushed forward. "The gatekeeper is dead. This is our chance. Everyone charge." Seeing this situation, Ho-Yol silently observed. The gatekeeper's death acted like a starting gun, inciting everyone. Instantly, a new system notification popped up. Class quest updated. Quest start of the counterattack. Hunt the vampires. Make the vampires feel the absolute terror of becoming the prey. Reading this, he was taken aback. A new quest. Is this the condition to enter the castle? But what on earth does the terror of being hunted even mean? Am I really supposed to complete a requirement like this? Where are you going? Granfel's personality coldly spoke up. There is no time to hesitate. Left with no choice, Ho-Yol walked forward while thinking in utter despair. Wait, hang on a second. Just think about this for a moment. We can't just charge in there and start hacking and slashing like that. And besides, how on earth do you plan on scaring them anyway? Count Asura is level 430 while I'm only level 100. It seems Granfel's persona couldn't care less with the mindset of I am a demon hunter. But what about Ho-Yol, who is being driven to utter despair by this stubbornness? The space before him left Ho-Yol a bit surprised. This place was a banquet hall, and sensing that something wasn't quite right, his face instantly grew serious. Everything about this place had become incredibly eerie, sending shivers down his spine. He stepped closer to inspect those portrait paintings more carefully. The scene shifts elsewhere as a weapon slams heavily onto the ground. By now, the Gaon Guild has successfully breached the Count's fortress. The more Taemin thinks about it, the more furious he gets, making him lash out. Damn it, Chillman asks with concern. Taemin, are you okay? Though highly uncomfortable, he still nods to confirm, I'm fine, just feeling a bit suffocated, that's all. Ever since we entered this banquet hall filled with these portraits hanging on the walls, I've felt like I'm being watched. It's just like how that weird statue earlier was possessed by a demon. Realizing something is wrong, Chillman quickly shouts a warning, the portraits! They're demon portraits. Burn them all! Hearing this, the mages hastily set the paintings ablaze. At the same time, Taemin feels a weight lift from his shoulders. Suddenly, I feel a lot better. Now, understanding what was happening, Chillman lets out a sigh. No wonder. I kept wondering why the players who entered first ended up retreating. It turns out everything in this castle is a trap, every statue, portrait, and piece of furniture. The interior decor can inflict status abnormalities. No wonder the Shining Guild refused to enter through the main gate. This realization grates on Taemin. Damn it. They seem to be way more experienced than I thought. But with my class, my resistance to status abnormalities is supposed to be much higher. Still, we've barely taken a few steps. Just standing at the entrance of the hall is already this terrible. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like the deeper we go. Meanwhile, Hoyol is still standing there, quietly staring at the scene before him, particularly at these portraits. These are a total eyesore. Holy crap, I seriously don't get how anyone could sit and eat with these things hanging on the wall without throwing up. They must have stomachs of steel. Even though Hoyol is screaming in despair on the inside, "Why are you being so brutally honest, man?" He quickly glances around the room. Those statues from earlier were already utterly hideous. I feel sorry for the blocks of stone that went through the pain of being sculpted only to end up looking worse than their original raw form. Why on earth would anyone put such ugly, useless things on display? Now I finally understand why they say extreme narcissism is a disease. Even the layout of this castle is incredibly stupid. The hallways twist and turn everywhere like an anthill, and there's a bunch of grand halls that lead straight to dead ends. I have no idea what kind of idiot designed this kind of structure. They probably only have a head to grow hair. Hoyol is also completely exasperated with his own thoughts. What am I, a real estate agent or something? Sensing that something is off, Hoyol quickly directs his attention toward the stairs right in front of him. An intrigued smile spreads across his face. So, is this the place? It absolutely reeks of filth. Even though Hoyol is feeling anxious on the inside, Granfel's sharp senses are telling him that looking at the layout, this must be the heart of the citadel. Behind that door lies Count Asura. It's dead quiet around here. Perhaps the other players haven't even made it this far yet. Just as Hoyol is feeling smug, Jesse suddenly appears right in front of him. "Found you!" "I saw it. You know, your magic is so incredibly cool." The sudden appearance of a stranger catches Hoyol off guard. Seeing no response from him, she continues to pry. "It's really you, right?" Hoyol can't hide his shock on the inside. "She's floating. What in the world? I had to struggle so hard just to accumulate a tiny bit of mana, yet hers is overflowing like it's water." Jesse enthusiastically continues, "I'm so curious, I just can't wait any longer. What exactly is that skill? I've rewatched that video 10 times, but I still can't figure it out. And I'm pretty familiar with all types of magic. Can we chat a bit about that awesome magic of yours?" Hoyol suddenly looks straight into her eyes. Before she can register what's happening, his hand reaches forward and his gaze turns cold as he issues a sharp reminder. "Watch your manners. When you want to ask someone for something, the absolute least you can do is show some proper respect. Do you understand?" His words leave Jessie completely frozen. A second later, her expression starts to shift. Meanwhile, Hoyol also senses that something is terribly wrong. A bizarre figure suddenly materializes behind the two of them. It looks like Count Asuka has indeed appeared behind the two of them. The system suddenly pops up a new notification. Natural enemy skill activated. Hoyan slowly turns his head. Asuka's disgusting face stares right back at them. "I was wondering who dared disturb my slumber. Turns out it's just two humans. How utterly foolish. You lowly, inferior humans." Seeing this, Rachel gets a bit anxious. That is Count Asuka. His presence is just too overwhelming. She suddenly turns around and asks, "Hey, cool magic guy, are you okay, Hoyan?" Hoyan ignores her completely. How utterly ridiculous, Count Asuka. Hearing this, the Count looks a bit confused. Without a moment's hesitation, Hoyan pulls an item out from his coat. "You are nothing but a vile, pathetic vampire. In my hand is the blood-cursed necklace chosen as a sacrifice. I will personally teach you a lesson." At the same time, he activates his exorcism ritual skill. For daring to falsely claim noble blood. The system screen pops up with the introductory quest, Vampire Hunt Counterattack, make the vampires feel the absolute terror of becoming the prey. Looking at his own actions, even Hoyan is startled. Right. The exorcism ritual requires a sacrifice. I can use this to drag that bastard, Asuka, into my own subconscious to fight him. He recalls a moment from earlier when he kept asking himself how on earth he could make that monster feel fear. How could I possibly do that? Then his other persona, Cafeo, slowly spoke up. "I am a demon hunter." Hearing those words made him realize what Cafeo actually meant. So, he meant using these... But is this really going to be okay? Even so, Count Asuka is level 430. If things take a turn for the worse, I might end up getting possessed. Asuka's face twists with contempt. "What is with that filthy necklace anyway? What a pitiful human. I actually like that arrogance of yours. However, you are still nothing more than a lowly insect." Seeing this unfold, Rachel frantically screams, "Hoyan, Count Asuka is absorbing power from his subordinates." On the side, Hoyan thinks in despair, I know. This is really bad. He was already 300 levels above me to begin with, but now if he absorbs back all the power he distributed to his underlings, the gap between us will be astronomical. Suddenly, Asuka senses something is wrong as he realizes he has been transported to a completely unfamiliar space. His face slowly turns to confusion. Where is this? Hoyan calmly stands there holding the necklace in his hand. Realizing his intentions, Asuka turns his head and bursts into laughter. But his voice still held a hint of contempt. Well, this trick of yours is quite unique, I'll give you that. You lowly mortal, I can easily crush a stupid little trick like this. If I destroy you along with it. Continuous explosions rocked the area, throwing everything into absolute chaos. Looking at the burning wreckage, Asuka felt deeply satisfied. He smirked at his handiwork. I was actually looking forward to you keeping me entertained for a bit. But look at you. Your body has already turned to ash. I always knew you were just a lowly... Hoyan suddenly spoke up. So that's how you see me, Asuka. It turned out that during those violent explosions, Hoyan was completely unharmed. Seeing him safe and sound only infuriated Asuka further. How are you still alive? He didn't bother answering. Instead, he fired back. Look closely, Asuka. See who's the one about to die. Sensing things were going south, sweat poured down Asuka's face. The sight of his own body being beaten by Hoyan flashed right in front of him. Just looking at this scene made Asuka speechless, unable to accept this reality. He clutched his head and screamed in utter despair. Even Retsa, standing nearby, had no idea what was going on. Asuka kept screaming, "This makes no sense. It's impossible. This has to be some kind of trick. Yes, a cheap hoax tricks like this. It can easily be shattered by me." Retsa silently wondered, what on earth is going on here? The mage remained standing still, but Count Asuka had fallen into a state of panic. Seeing his pathetic state, Hoyan was rather pleased. Asuka, looks like you're terrified, aren't you? He was still clutching his head, trying desperately to escape reality. Unable to take it anymore, he shrieked, "Shut up, you filthy insect!" Everything seemed to return to reality. Now that Hoyan had things under control, thinking back on it made him exhausted. Man, even the castle's roof is completely gone. I almost died. But Retsa was incredibly excited. You knew his last attack would miss, didn't you? You looked so relaxed I even cast a shield out of habit. You're so cool. In reality, Hoyan was still sweating. He hadn't even had enough time to react. The skill he had used was actually exorcism ritual. Asuka was suddenly hit with despair. What is it this time? To explain, it's a skill that allows the user to attack a demon without causing any harm to the user's own body. However, another effect can be triggered by offering a tribute. This effect forces the demon into the demon hunter's subconscious. Asuka screamed in terror, "Get away from me! Get away from me right now." Who gets the upper hand in this situation depends entirely on their mental strength. He was screaming like a total madman, "Don't come near me!" But there was no way a demon hunter would be shaken by a mere demon. Hoyan thought to himself, pleased. I didn't expect it to be this effective. Retsi beside him was bursting with excitement. Whoa, this is an unbelievable sight. What did you do to him? He's just screaming all by himself in midair, and he's swinging wildly at empty air, running away in pure terror. Asuka's current state looked utterly pathetic. This makes no sense. This can't be real. How could a lowly mortal defeat a noble count like me? Just then, the notification he had been waiting for popped up. Count Asuka has been afflicted with the fear status. It seemed the fear effect had a peculiar impact on demons. Finally, a system alert caught his eye, showing the vampire experiencing the terror of becoming the prey. Quest complete. An expectant smile spread across Hoyan's face. He drew his silver dagger and slowly walked over. Let's get this over with. Retsi beside him was still chatting away. Wait, was that the fear status? You actually did that to him? How did you do it? Is it a new spell? If it is, can you teach me? Of course I'll pay you properly. Hoyan ignored her chatter and brought the dagger down, but suddenly froze as if realizing something. Realizing that Asuka's health was still almost full, Hoyan was shocked. Wait, it didn't deal any damage at all. Having no other choice, he turned to Retsa. You finish him off. His request left her utterly confused. Take care of him, but you've done almost all the work. Why make me do it when you can easily finish him off yourself? Like, why? Seeing her pepper him with questions, Hoyan felt utterly helpless. I want to, but my level is too low, so I can't even scratch him. Since you can raid this dungeon, you must be incredibly strong, so please just read between the lines here. Damn it, just kill him quickly. Only then did Retsa finally put two and two together. She raised her magic staff. Excuse me, but wasn't I the one who asked you to train me? So what you're saying is, if I kill him and get stronger, I can learn that spell on my own, right? Ho-Yaon flinched at the sight. A bolt of lightning suddenly tore through the sky, striking right down toward Asakura, right before both of their eyes. Though he tried to keep a cool face, he was actually terrified inside. He couldn't believe his eyes. What the hell is this? Notification after notification kept popping up. Count Asakura has been defeated. Calculating contribution points. Thanks to your high contribution points, rewards will be automatically distributed. Following that was a series of level-up notifications. Meanwhile, Retsa stared blankly at Asakura's remains. He had been burnt to ashes. This sight sent a shiver down Ho-Yaon's spine, and he couldn't help but think. Even if he was weakened, she still managed to kill Count Asuka. Someone at level 430 in just one hit. Is this the power of a high-level player? Meanwhile, she was still excitedly staring at the pile of ashes in front of her. What could this be? Why is it still smoking like this? She even playfully wiped some on her face. And as if that wasn't enough, Retsa opened her mouth about to eat it. Ho-Yaon was completely speechless at the sight. Is she out of her mind or what? Why on earth is she trying to eat that? A system notification popped up. Class Advancement Quest, The Awakening. The prologue has ended, and the fire beacon has been erected. O remaining demon hunters, light up this world that is currently submerged in wickedness. Class Quest. Prologue of the counterattack. You have completed the quest. A new class quest is being issued. The Awakening class quest chain has been established. The prologue has ended, and the fire beacon has been erected. O remaining demon hunters, light up this world that is currently submerged in wickedness. This notification left Ho-Yaon completely stunned. Just then a sound came from behind, drawing everyone's attention as Retsalata and the others came rushing inside. All of our abnormal status effects and suddenly disappeared. Was that you? Did you really defeat Count Asakura? Hearing this, she hesitated. Well, that is... Suddenly, right at that moment, Lotta recognized Ho-Yaon's familiar figure. Retsa also turned around to look at him, catching his eye. Right after that, she suddenly spoke up in a puzzling way. Please forgive me, even though I'm not really used to this. But I will do my absolute best. My name is ZC2SC. If it's not too impolite, may I ask for your name? This sudden display left everyone in the guild completely frozen in shock. Ho-Yaon also didn't know what to say in response to this. He couldn't help but recall what she had said earlier. She'd mentioned she wasn't a very polite person, but now she was actively trying to change and learn. I'll tell her my name, just as a small favor to her. Ho-Yaon finally spoke up slowly. I'm Lee Ho-Yaon. The scene transitions. The next morning, amidst rows of towering skyscrapers, a voice echoed from inside a house. A man quickly approached the main gate. The statue immediately came to life and attacked him, leaving nearby players with absolutely no time to react before the statue was shattered into pieces. Meanwhile, Yunhee was still on the phone. I'm doing fine, and Egg-Yang is doing great too. Just raising her is exhausting enough. The news continued to report on the situation. A short while later, reporters arrived at the residence of Count Asuka, though he had already turned into dust. Egg-Yang came running toward Eunhee, shouting, Mom! Seeing this, she smiled and asked, What's the news? A voice echoed from the TV inside the room. The players who cleared this dungeon are Retsa 2SC and... Meanwhile, Egg-Yang kept tugging at Yunhee's shirt. Mom, look right there. On the screen, look, Uncle Ho-Yaon is on TV. This made Eunhee curious. Egg-Yang, why would your uncle be on TV? Just then a familiar voice spoke, I am... This sight made Eunhee freeze instantly. At the same time, Ho-Yaon introduced himself to everyone on air, Lee Ho-Yaon. This made both of their eyes light up with utter disbelief. The scene cuts to Ho-Yaon's familiar one-story house. As usual, he was diligently holding his cleaning tools when his phone rang. It was his second older sister calling. It was bound to happen eventually. After defeating Asuka, his face had been plastered all over social media. News reports kept popping up everywhere. Who is the mysterious player Lee Ho-Yaon? He thought to himself in frustration. It's only a matter of time before my family finds out about this. Calls kept flooding in from his first and second older sisters, and then his other sister called. Thinking about his family, Ho-Yaon felt incredibly happy. I have 3 older sisters, and we've been really close since we were kids. except for the fact that back then all three of his sisters used to pick on him. "What's your problem? Why are you always tailing us Jan, get lost before we teach you a lesson." He thought in complete despair, "I really don't want to pick up this phone. Who knows what kind of earful they're going to scream at me." Suddenly a voice shouted from outside, "Hey, Lee Ho Jan!" This startled him. The sound of loud banging on the door kept echoing from outside. "I know you're in there. Open up right now. Why didn't you pick up when I called, huh? Open the door while I'm still being nice." Unconsciously, Ho Jan opened the door. There they were, his oldest, second, and third sisters waiting for him. As he stepped outside, he warned all three of them. "Hey, you guys are disturbing the neighbors. First, everyone calm down, girls." Seeing this, He smiled, picked up Agang, and said, "Look, it's your uncle." But the other two sisters found the events that followed completely baffling. Breaking news kept rolling in. The next segment was about an ordinary player who had suddenly burst onto the scene as a new superstar player, Lee Ho-yol. He defeated Count Asura and coolly brushed off all questions and interview requests. He only said, "I am Lee Ho-yol," and walked away. Not just Korea, but the entire world is now focused on this mysterious man. Nam Tae-min, the guild master of the Berserker Guild, walked over with a cup of coffee. "Here, yours has a lot of cocoa in it." Nam Cheol-min dejectedly took the coffee cup. "Tae-min, everyone is talking about Ho-yol. Realistically speaking, do you think he'd actually join our guild? Even if we offered him a 10-0 profit split, we might not stand a chance." Tae-min looked at him in surprise and asked, "Why are you being so pessimistic? There's a high chance he'll still join us. We have his number, and we have a solid reason to contact him." This piqued Cheol-min's curiosity. "What reason?" Tae-min smiled and quickly laid out his plan. "Think about the items we obtained. From the battle in the Vampire Count's territory, we only got them because of Ho-yol. So shouldn't we do the polite thing and share them with him?" Cheol-min was taken aback, realizing his point. "Oh, right. So how much should we give him?" Tae-min's face grew thoughtful as he set his cup down on the table. "That doesn't matter. I'm being completely serious. Even if we fail to recruit him into Gaon, I still want to make sure we leave a lasting impression. To do that, we need to give him all of those items. Call him right now, brother." Nam Cheol-min was about to say something more. "I told you not to break the furniture." In the period of time that followed, Nam Cheol-min kept trying to call Ho-yol. Meanwhile, Agang was having a blast putting hair clips in his hair, gushing, "Uncle Ho-yol, this suits you so well." He was trying to get a word in with his sisters, saying, "Guys," but before he could even finish his sentence, the third in command of the household, his eldest sister, interrupted him. "Your new hair color is so cool, Ho-yol still didn't give up." "Sisters, please, the fourth in command." His second sister teased him mercilessly. "You look like a K-pop idol. It's hilarious and the fifth in command of the family." His third sister spoke up in an annoyed tone. What's with that tone of voice? Even Agang ranked 6th, while Ho-yol was stuck at 7th. "The wind is pretty cold today. What kind of tea would you sisters like?" Meanwhile, the little girl kept praising him, saying, "Uncle, your hair is so pretty, just like a princess." Hearing this, Ji-eun burst into laughter. "Sisters, I don't think he's just acting. He's totally in character." Even Eun-hee was surprised. "Our Ho-yol has really softened up, hasn't he?" Seeing this change in him, Jae-hee looked at him with pure disdain. "So you're a player now. Are you, like, synchronized with your character or something?" He was about to answer when Agang cut him off. "Uncle, let me watch." Pororo Ho-yol tried to speak up again. "Hold on, sweetie." But the little girl was stubborn. "Pororo, hurry up." The two sisters watching this chuckled. This really takes me back. Right? About 15 years ago, wasn't it? The kid who used to call himself Orpheus or whatever. He even begged us to let him dye his hair silver. Remember? Ho-yol was practically in tears from embarrassment. "Please stop. Did you guys seriously come here just to make fun of me?" The sisters completely ignored him and kept going. And what else was there? Didn't he say he'd greet Mom and Dad like a noble scholar or something? Yeah, something like that. I'm just so proud of him. Hearing all this, Ho-yol sank deeper into despair. "Please, just stop. You guys are absolute fiends." Jae-hee, who had been sitting quietly on the side, suddenly turned to him. "Hey, Lee Ho-yol. You're not putting yourself in danger, are you? Do you have any idea how worried we were? I heard players get hurt all the time in those dungeons. And you wouldn't even pick up your phone. Do you know how terrified I was that something awful had happened to you? Anyway, we're going to have to tell Mom and Dad about this. They haven't heard the news yet, since they went out early this morning to buy ingredients to make dumplings, but they're going to be absolutely shocked when they find out." If it ever gets too hard, just quit, do you hear me? Just remember that we're all here for you. Hoyeol smiled warmly. I'm sorry for making you worry, but I'm really okay. But suddenly, his Grandfell persona spoke out on its own. I, Demon Hunter, Grandfell, Claudius, Orpheus, Romeo, am exceptionally suited for this noble path. Do not worry yourself so, my dear sisters. His sudden change in tone left all three of them completely speechless before they cooed, "Aw, his voice is so cute." Meanwhile, Hoyeol silently screamed to himself, "Should I just end it all right here?" As evening approached, the 3 teacups were cleared away, and all 3 of them went back to their normal daily lives. Thanks for the tea, Hoyeon. Goodbye, sir, we're heading out now. He nodded and said, Get home safely, girls. Take care, kiddo. I really hope to see you again soon. Still feeling uneasy, they kept fussing over him. Anyway, Hoyeon, make sure to call us more often, okay? Just call us if anything happens and don't do anything dangerous, okay? He immediately nodded in agreement. Understood, sis. Yejin suddenly remembered something and chimed in, and you make sure you save your money. And absolutely do not co-sign a loan for anyone. This warning left Hoyeon completely baffled. Save? It's not like I even have any money to save. Wait, the reward for clearing a rift challenge is the main source of income for players. It comes from the developers at Akana. The amount depends on the difficulty and your contribution percentage. There are rumors that Cosmo Company is going downhill and the CEO himself, Raymond Shin, is paying out of his own pocket. I wonder how much it's going to be this time. How much could it be? 10 million won? 20 million won? No, could it possibly be 100 million won? The scene shifts to the Korean branch of the Shining Guild. Seeing Zik still lost in thought, Camilla sighed in frustration. Zik, are you absolutely sure you don't know anything? You defeated Asuka alongside that guy named Lee Hoyeon, right? And yet you don't know a single thing about him. Zik simply repeated, I don't know. Seeing this, Camilla grumbled in frustration. Oh, come on, don't be like that. Just tell me. All you do is watch those weird YouTube videos. Right then, Zik suddenly spoke up. Camilla, could you please not disturb me right now? I'm trying to focus on this. Seeing no other choice, Camilla sighed and backed away. Fine, I give up. I won't ask anymore, so stop being so cold to me. With that, she turned around and walked away. How annoying. Why on earth is that kid watching videos on Korean etiquette and manners anyway? Right then, a notification chime rang out, catching Zik's attention in surprise. It was the reward notification for completing the quest. The Rift reward had been transferred. Meanwhile, though Hoyeon tried to maintain his composure, he was utterly dumbfounded. The more he stared, the less he could comprehend it. How on earth did it turn out to be this much? 110 billion won! Just the items looted from Count Asuka alone would have been more than enough. Just how filthy rich is this Raymond guy? Kafel, his other persona, spoke up with utter contempt. Are you seriously getting excited over this pocket change? How pathetic. Hoyeon snapped back angrily. Shut up, you snobby noble! He looked over the loot obtained from defeating Count Asuka. Count Asuka's magic orb, Peerless Chessboard. Level requirement, 400. Effects sealed. Contains a demonic curse. But because its effects are sealed, it must be properly purified to understand its true power. It is a one-of-a-kind cursed item. If it were his level 12 self, Hoyeon would have smugly said, no matter how high level a cursed item is, the success rate of lifting the curse must be practically 0. Shouldn't we just throw away this piece of trash? Hoyeon used to think like that, but things are different now. But a demon hunters can use it as a sacrifice for an exorcism ritual. Well, since my class is already considered trash, there's no harm in using trashy items. Talk about a massive profit during the fight against Count Asuka. The sacrificial offering chosen was the blood-cursed necklace. I thought it would have been destroyed, but it's actually still here. The details of the blood-cursed necklace popped up. Grade rare. Level requirement 300. Effect low chance to trigger instant protection when attacked. A necklace designed for battle enthusiasts. It boasts incredible power as it contains a massive amount of magic designed to keep the wearer safe. Furthermore, the curse has been completely lifted. The exorcism skill must have purified it. Hoyeon's hands shook as he checked his account balance. The magic orb, the necklace, and now 110 billion won, over 100 billion. As night fell, Hoyeon couldn't get a single wink of sleep. He tossed and turned in desperation, his mind racing. I can't sleep. What do I even do with 110 billion won? Should I put it into a high-yield savings account? No, I should buy some starter gear first. But what? What if I get scammed? No. Should I leave some for my family? Kafel suddenly snapped. Will you shut up? Hoyeon completely ignored him and kept staring at his account balance. Right. I should buy more gear to keep clearing the rifts, but honestly, finding gear that matches my current level is going to be hard as hell. Right after defeating Count Asura, I jumped a whopping 34 levels and now I'm at level 134. Just a few days ago, I was only at level 55. With this kind of leveling speed, spending billions of won on level-specific gear doesn't make much sense anyway. Besides, they don't even sell items that restore mana. Even if they did, it would be insanely expensive. The Grandfell persona next to me quickly warned me to put down my phone and go to sleep. My eyesight is getting worse and worse. Hoyle was still fuming, thinking, "Well, I'm glad you're happy with that billionaire title." He replied as if nothing had happened. "Excuse me, I'm a multi-billionaire now." Those words left Hoyle speechless. Oh, great. Soon the scene shifted to the Korean branch of the association. Inside the meeting room, everyone was staring silently at the screen ahead. The guy was still reporting to everyone with a very serious face. "All right, please take a closer look at this footage." Looking at the visual effect of the rubble turning into stone pillars, we immediately concluded that it was alchemy. These words left everyone in shock. Nonsense, alchemy could never create a massive stone pillar like that. Does that guy have infinite magic power or something? Are you sure about that? A real alchemist's power would suggest otherwise. Hey, aren't you in financial management? I'm in the magic and special effects department, and I know for a fact that's an alchemy effect. Watching them argue, Taemin let out a heavy sigh. Man, this is exhausting. Where is this even going? I mean, he's just Lee Hoyle. The guy next to him smiled and nudged him. Hey, senior, do you know anything? He quickly glanced back with a sympathetic look. We're in the same boat here. If you don't know, neither do I. He groaned, letting out another sigh. I've been working myself to death for the past few days. My friends and family barely see me anymore. There's absolutely nothing on Lee Hoyle in the Arcana database. We don't even know if that's his real name or just an alt account. So many headaches. Taemin muttered, turning back to his computer screen. Well, today is Thursday already. If the new update is out, then things might settle down a bit. Talk about perfect timing. But the very next news flash made everyone instantly freeze their faces, turning pale with shock. A notification popped up announcing a new area update. Hello, players of Arcana. We are updating a brand new region. The new territory, Yoseo Island, has been added. To explain a bit about Yoseo Island, it is a mysterious region known as the Island of Terror. It's a mythical island that no one has ever explored, and everything born or created there is an absolute nightmare far beyond anything this world has ever seen. And now it has manifested in reality. The news anchor continued to report on the breaking story. Yes, that is the latest news on Arcana and the new update for the Island of Terror Yoseo. Additionally, we have a summary of the upcoming regular Magic Festival starting early this week. The regular Magic Festival is where Master Mages gather and compete. This is a prime opportunity for those in the Mage class to hone their skills and expand their knowledge. Ever since the Arcana Magic Festival was held in real life for the first time, it has drawn a massive amount of attention. One of the guest players is Jessie Highness Rank 4. She is currently preparing to enter the Mage Tower. Excuse me, Miss Jessie, is the Mage Tower here because of Asura Island? Are they planning to clear it with Lee Hoyle? I'm here to participate in the Magic Festival. No interviews, please. Seeing her familiar figure on screen, Hoyle gasped in surprise. That girl, she's ranked 4th in the world. You must show her the utmost respect, you hear me. She's incredibly strong. Grandfell's persona with his pride inflated 500 times asked, A magic festival? Hoyle suddenly cried out, Yes, that's what's important. You can't hesitate to go down there. To learn and refine one's knowledge of magic. Hoyle was taken aback by these words. That was the exact description of the Mage Tower back when Arcana was still just a game. The Grandfell persona suddenly interjected, no matter how grand this magic festival is. This is an opportunity I cannot miss. Hoyle was about to say something when the Grandfell persona suddenly put on his gloves. You take care of the rest. I shall depart once I finish washing these 8 plates. Hoyle was utterly speechless. Normally, wouldn't someone just leave immediately? You don't have to be this meticulous. In the blink of an eye, the scene shifted to the Mage Tower. A massive crowd had already gathered there. Everyone seemed incredibly excited for the Mage Tower to open. Among them, Cly sat quietly waiting, a hopeful smile on her face as she thought to herself, The festival is finally happening. As a mage of the Mage Tower, Cly wondered, I wonder how this will all turn out. I heard Lord Marcello, the Tower Master, will also be giving a speech today. Just then, a guy came rushing forward. Let's go, everyone, I'm heading in first. His teammate quickly yelled a warning. Watch out behind you! The guy was about to crash right into Cly, but she remained completely unfazed, barely paying any attention to the commotion. A split second later, he groaned in pain. "Ouch, what the hell was that?" His teammate burst out laughing. "Hey, even if you want to get to Yusra as fast as possible, you shouldn't go running face first into a wall." Cleo sighed, scolding him for being a bonehead, but he just laughed at himself. "Man, that was so dumb. Pull me up, will you?" All while she was still looking completely fed up. Just then, Jessica's familiar voice rang out. "Don't speak of him like that, Cleo. This wall is an illusion spell created by a Magic Tower professor for the conference." "Huh, a spell that anyone without an invitation can't even see." Realizing she had arrived, Cleo quickly stood up. "Lady Jessica, that is correct. Actually, even high-ranking mages of the Magic Tower would struggle to see it. I'm sorry." Jessica shook her head, explaining, "No need to apologize to me," while the crowd behind them was still looking completely baffled. "That's Jessica?" She walked right through the wall. Jessica stepped forward without a single moment of hesitation. "Cleo, you are the guide today, correct? Here is my invitation." She quickly hurried over and spoke up. "Yes, I am responsible for guiding the invited players to the Crystal Hall. Lady Jessica is the final attendee. Everyone on the guest list is here, so we'll be heading out now." Looking at the crowd in front of her, Jessica was slightly surprised. "Is this everyone actually? Could you wait just a little longer?" Cleo was suddenly puzzled. For some reason, Jessica's face had suddenly lit up with an expectant smile. "I think for this conference, there is still one more person who hasn't arrived yet." And just as Jessica had predicted, Hoyol had appeared right there. In front of him stood a massive stone, making him marvel at the Magic Tower once again. It was always ridiculously packed here, absolutely overflowing. Hoyol tried to squeeze his way through the crowd. "Excuse me, let me through, please." But just dealing with this was already exhausting him. It's usually crowded, but is it because everyone wants to get to Yusra that it's even more packed today? Just then a man quickly noticed Hoyol's presence. "Wait, it's Lee Hoyol." Suddenly, people started recognizing him left and right. "Where is that really Lee Hoyol?" "The actual Lee Hoyol. Yeah, that's him. It really is Lee Hoyol." Seeing things get out of hand, he panicked. "Damn it, I forgot I was all over the news. I'm way too famous now." The crowd rushed toward him. "Are you heading to Yusra too? Take a picture with me, please." Wow, it really is the real Lee Hoyol. He was completely at a loss, desperately wondering what to do. Damn it. "Mr. Hoyol, I've been your die-hard fan for 25 years. Just one photo. If you take a picture with me, I promise I won't bother you anymore," Hoyol thought in irritation. "This brat. Get your hand off my bag this instant. Weren't you ever taught any manners? You should chew your food before swallowing, and think before you open your mouth." Hoyol coldly spat out, "Get lost." The sudden words startled even his own inner self. Whoa. Regardless of the situation, telling someone to get lost is a bit too harsh, don't you think? Wait, actually, if they get disappointed by Granfell's cold personality, I might get less attention in the future. The man slowly lowered his head, trembling. I can't believe it. I actually got to hear such precious words from you. A cold-hearted Lee Hoyol is just so cute. Truly, a noble, so amazing. Please, insult me some more. Me too, please. Hoyol suddenly felt like the entire world had lost its mind. None of his tactics were working at all. The rabid fans had completely surrounded him. Lee Hoyol, you're so cool. Hoyol had no idea what to do next. I can't stay stuck here like this. I have to get out of here. Sensing something unusual, his eyes widened in surprise as he looked over. There's something off about that wall over there. No, it looked exactly like any other wall. Seeing him walk away, everyone froze. Lee Hoyol. He kept running forward. But somehow I can feel a subtle difference. It was incredibly subtle. People kept shouting after him, Hoyol, where are you going? That's just a wall. Suddenly, seeing Hoyol rushing straight toward her made Cleo's face flush red. He took a sharp breath. I knew it. An illusion spell. A short while later, Hoyol and Cleo slowly made their way inside. Noticing his perfectly calm expression made her feel a bit nervous. Who is this guy anyway? All the invited guests should have arrived by now. No matter how many times I look at the attendee list, there isn't any newly added name. Seeing her looking troubled, Hoyol suddenly spoke up, asking, Is there a problem? Thinking of how her face had flushed earlier, she became deeply embarrassed. No, it's nothing. You said you wanted to attend the conference, right? He nodded with absolute certainty. Yes. Right. This made her a bit skeptical. But you don't have an invitation. Hoyol nodded without a single moment of hesitation. Exactly. Hearing his confirmation made Clet, extremely bewildered. This is absurd. This illusion spell was cast by the professors of the Magic Tower themselves. Without an invitation, even the chief mage wouldn't be able to see it. It shouldn't be this easy. Then how on earth did he manage to get in here? Noticing her blushing face, Hoyol was utterly confused. What is wrong with her? He spoke up again, so if I'm not invited, I can't participate. Hearing his words, Cleo hurriedly shook her head, explaining, No, that's not it at all. According to the regulations, if someone discovers that magic formula, they are still allowed to attend the conference even without an invitation. But this is the first time someone has actually seen through the Mage Tower's veil, so it's a bit unfamiliar to me and frankly quite astonishing. I must ask, what class are you? Of course, I'm only asking from an artistic perspective. Indeed. Hoyol calmly replied, Yes, the creator of this magic formula is truly commendable. I was merely fortunate enough to pass through, though inwardly he was thinking to have actually stepped right through that wall. My magic power must be over 1,000 by now. I already have an idea of what I need to do. Now I just need my magic power to reach the required level. The door slowly opens and Claire quickly announces, We've arrived. A vast, lush green space unfolds right before his eyes. Looking at his current demeanor, Claire smiles and says, Welcome to the gathering place of the intellectual elite, the Crystal Hall. A pure, innocent smile graces her face as the narration continues. When Arcana fused with the real world, the residents of Arcana, or NPCs, became real people. But this was what had the greatest impact. The youngest chief mage rumored to inherit the Magic Tower was Chief Marcello. A true genius who always led the conferences, he established groundbreaking new knowledge that shook the world. To understand how the world currently functions and quickly adapt to any changes, Jessie sitting there muttered in sheer boredom. How boring! The hat on her head suddenly nagged. Excuse me, didn't you just hear me explain how great Chief Marcello is? How can you say all that is boring? She immediately shot back. I can't help it, I'm bored and so sleepy. Besides all those stories, how can I know if they're even real if I haven't seen it with my own eyes? Those words are even drier than my magic professor's lectures. To me, magic is just a skill. All that talk about exploration, interference, and manifestation, I don't really care. Meanwhile, on the stage, Marcello continued his lecture. Even so, being able to attend this conference, a gathering of the intellectual elite and the most brilliant minds, is an honor, and the greatest honor for any mage. Jessie sighed and complained, If this wasn't a mandatory quest, I wouldn't even be here. As Marcello continued his lecture, the hat asked her, So is that why you're bored? This startles her. Meanwhile, Marcello continued, For several reasons, the Mage Tower has summoned the world's finest adventurers here. In fact, it is not just the Mage Tower that senses the shifting tides of this world. The intersection of worldviews, or what the adventurers call an update, is taking place. Just as the adventurers are unfamiliar with our Mage Tower's magic, we also find it difficult to comprehend their science and technology. However, we must walk together to find a path to harmony and restore world peace. Therefore, this lecture will relate to your science. I have seen the immense potential for magic within this concept called science. Below him, the crowd began whispering, Magic and science. Marcello suddenly raised his hand, conjuring a flame. His face turned remarkably serene. With an unusually calm voice, he said, Fusion. That is the name of this magic formula. An advanced fireball created by combining science and magic. However, one must be careful when approaching the intersection of these two entirely different concepts. Magic and science? No one knows? What variables they might introduce? Listening closely, Jessie found herself intrigued. The chief mage actually came up with this. That's actually pretty interesting. Marcello's face turned serious as he stared straight ahead. Therefore, we need adventurers who understand both of these fields to lend us a hand. Hearing this, the crowd below began whispering excitedly, It's a quest, right? It's definitely a quest. These days, quests like this are rare and the rewards must be huge. Wait, why isn't the quest window popping up? Is there a special condition? As Marcello was concluding his lecture with, Now if anyone has any questions, Hoyol raised his hand right in front of everyone, looking utterly perplexed. Chief Mage, the exploration of that new concept you just mentioned seems rather redundant. What are your thoughts on this matter? The question made Marcello freeze instantly. Everyone's eyes locked onto Hoyol. What is he actually questioning the Chief Mage? Moreover, does he even understand the theory behind it? Jessie's eyes lit up the moment she saw him. Hey, it's that guy with the strange magic. He's here too. The people around them shook their heads in dismay. How bizarre. Chief Marcello is known as the Viper of the Mage Tower. He's the last person you'd ever want to cross. With his personality, anyone who displeases him is bound to get hurt. By the way, who is that guy? I've never seen him before. They recalled the question Hoyol had just asked. Marcello suddenly spoke up. Redundant. Could you tell me why you think that? Everyone around was shocked once again. How on earth is he going to answer this? He was actually swayed by those questions. Hoyol continued to speak, sharing his thoughts. It's simple. I feel that they do not align or harmonize with each other. Magic and science are two completely different concepts. There must be friction when trying to fuse them. This can lead to an overload or rejection. I have previously witnessed this clash between skills and magic. Hoyol's words caused Marcello to instantly freeze on the spot. An expression of disbelief appeared on his face as he thought, that's impossible. He easily cast a spell that took me months to learn. What's more, he even felt the clash between those two methods just like I did. Everyone around watched Hoyol's action in amazement. It's identical to the spell from earlier. Is that Marcello? Wait, I think I've seen that guy somewhere before. Isn't that Lee Hoyol? He continued to speak, reminding them, people usually use the inner power within their bodies for the convergence process. While it's not fully perfected yet, the results aren't bad at all. He silently thought to himself, feeling a bit hesitant about whether to keep using Marcello's fireball since it required so much mana, but since he used inner power, it was much more effective. Everyone paid even more attention to him. Is that Lee Hoyol? It really is him. After committing Hoyol's name to memory, Marcello suddenly spoke up. Lee Hoyol. The adventurer. Lee Hoyol. His reaction left Hoyol completely puzzled. In front of everyone, he suddenly placed his hand over his heart. Would you be willing to join me in researching this field? Finally, the quest, Marcello's fusion magic research, appeared. The chief mage of the Magic Tower wishes to accompany you to advance to the next stage of magic. Decline or accept. This surprised Hoyol as he reached his hand toward the system window to think he'd receive a quest just for demonstrating that new spell. So that's why I decided to come here. His incredibly bright smile caught everyone's attention. Look at how he's laughing. He must think this whole event is ridiculous. Sometime later, the scene shifted to the beach with cool waves slowly washing over the golden sand. Leonie had been waiting for this for so long that she was jumping for joy. So this is the Yusra Islands. It's amazing, Leonie. Don't you think it looks exactly like in the game? I'm so excited for our upcoming adventures. If I had known, I would have brought my bikini. Bellucci turned her head in annoyance and snapped, Bikinis are the worst. Did you guys come here just to play? Looking at the crowd still gathered around, she sighed in frustration. The pink-haired girl walked over and planted a kiss on her cheek. Why are you so grumpy again, honey? So cute. Leonie angrily smacked her. Are you crazy? This sight left the blonde girl completely speechless. She just kissed the guildmaster. How gutsy. Though both sides seemed to have already expected this. I knew YouTubers and broadcasters would show up here, but I didn't expect the citizens of Arcana to show up as well. This surprised the blonde girl, and she asked, Citizens of Arcana, you mean the NPCs where? He pointed straight ahead. Right over there, the Lionheart Knights. ID. And at the same time, the group of knights slowly marched toward them. This is a disaster. Seeing all the different classes around them, people started whispering. Look at how huge and strong that guy is. It looks like the Shadow Mercenaries are here too, and even the Explorer Coalition. Seeing this, the pink-haired girl tightly hugged Bellucci and smiled as she spoke. That's right. The Island of Terror is quite famous in Arcana. She nodded in agreement. Even if they didn't know about the trial in Keenis, they probably still wanted to experience the terror here. The terror of this place. This is such a headache, now we even have to compete with NPCs. Seeing her like that, she cheerfully chimed in. Hey now, sis, at least the Magic Tower members aren't here. Think positive. A ringtone went off, catching the pink-haired girl's attention. Who is it? Bellucci checked the incoming call and spoke up. It's the energetic girl from our team. Let's see what she has to say on the other end. An urgent voice echoed from the phone. The convention is over. Sis, it was absolutely amazing. This piqued her interest. What about Lee Hoyol? She continued to recount everything she had witnessed. The convention turned into a total disaster. When he declared that the chief mage's magic was redundant, Bellucci couldn't hide her joy and burst into laughter. What, he even went after the chief mage of the Magic Tower? He is out of his mind, serves him right for disrespecting food. The pink-haired girl smiled with amusement. Just as expected, she still hates him. So cute. The two behind them silently thought, that lady is so creepy. Bellucci kept pressing for more details. And then what? Did the Tower Master beat him up? Did the next words from the Magic Tower girl freeze her right in her tracks? The Tower Master admitted that it was true, even bowing and agreeing to give him another quest. Everyone went wild over his new mission. Of Li Ho Yan. Her eyes grew wide in disbelief. How is that even possible? Meanwhile, Ho Yaon calmly read over the information on the sheet of paper. Marcelo spoke to him with a dead serious look on his face. If there is anything you want to use for your research, please write it down here. I will do everything in my power to help. His words left Ho Yaon completely baffled. Wow, going all out, are we? Holding the pen in his hand, he thought, well then, a bright smile spread across his face. If it's anything I want, then I need these items immediately. The scene shifts to the massive Magic Tower soaring inside the city. At the very peak of the Magic Tower, Marcelo hurriedly bowed with deep respect. You summoned me, Archmage, the greatest, most noble wizard of the tower. The mysterious figure, sitting high above, spoke coldly. Marcelo, the rising star of our Magic Tower. I hear you have proposed a joint research project with a mere traveler. The tower does not interfere in the affairs of travelers. Grand Mage Marcelo, you are clearly defying our sacred laws. Why would an outstanding wizard like you do such a thing? Without a moment of hesitation, Marcelo raised his head and explained, the traveler Li Ho Yaon has a remarkably deep grasp of magical concepts. Furthermore, he seems to possess an overwhelming amount of mana. His magical talent will be of immense help in this chaotic world we live in today. We can no longer afford to be bound by ancient laws and just stand by and watch with our hands tied. The mysterious figure suddenly cut in. Grand Mage Marcelo, we wizards have always conducted our research in isolation, taking full responsibility for our own actions. You are a wizard yourself. Therefore, you should know that better than anyone. I respect your decision. But remember, you will bear full responsibility for whatever he does. If there is nothing else, we shall discuss this later. You may leave. Stepping outside, Marcelo thought with deep frustration, that stubborn old fool. Responsibility, give me a break. Are fools who are blindly obsessed with their own ideals and swallowed by pride even worthy of uttering the word responsibility? Just how much longer is this Magic Tower going to stay locked away in silence? Just then Cly walked up carrying a pile of items and called out with a smile, Master Marcelo? Seeing her unexpectedly made him blink in surprise. Cly, what are you doing here? She smiled warmly and explained, I have gathered all the items Li Ho Yan requested, and I was just on my way to deliver them to him. Hearing this, he reached his hand out to her. Oh, is that so? Then hand them over to me. I will deliver them myself. Her expression filled with slight worry. Pardon, I can easily take care of it, Master Marcelo. You must be incredibly busy, so please let me handle this. But Marcelo remained resolute. I was just about to head out anyway. There are a few details I want to double-check. This made her extremely curious. Double-check? Oh, in that case, here they are. A short while later, the scene shifts to the spacious room. Ho Yaon was still sitting in the library, deeply focused on reading. Marcelo walked in and placed the items onto the table. Here are the items you requested, Li Ho Yaon. These tools are capable of restoring mana. First, the unique grade Frozen Sealed Knowledge with a level limit of 550. It restores 50% of the mana consumed when using Ice Attribute magic. Next, the unique grade Sun Essence with a level limit of 600. It restores 20% of mana when using Fire Attribute magic. Finally, the epic grade Forbidden Knowledge with a level limit of 590. It has a certain chance to restore 50% of your mana when casting spells. Reading through the stats of these items left Ho Yan thoroughly impressed. Marcelo continued. And I threw in a few magic grimoires as well. What do you think, Traveler Li Ho? And Ion, are they to your liking? Hearing those words, he decisively raised his head to look at him. Staring at the array of items laid out on the table, Ho Yaon's inner greed was tingling. Am I satisfied? He thought. Then he spoke slowly. Grand Mage, the items you brought here are indeed a perfect match for my level. As he spoke, he even pulled out a unique grade necklace, Tears of the Sun God, which required level 620. Seeing this, Marcelo was taken aback and grew flustered. He let out a weary sigh. Just as expected. I apologize. I completely underestimated you. This reaction made Ho Yan incredibly annoyed. Are you serious, old man? Give me something I can actually use right now. Marcelo continued. When you requested an item that can restore mana, I honestly didn't expect to find something so perfectly suited for you. But it seems you already knew of this item's existence. Right after that, he placed an item on the table called the unique grade Six Kingdoms Emblem, with a level limit of 100 which restores 10% of the mana consumed when casting spells. The sight of this item made Ho-Yan freeze instantly. Without hesitation, his mind raced. First of all, the level requirement is absolutely perfect. It can restore 10% of consumed mana with 0 limits. If there is a small item with this kind of effect, I'll snatch it up right here and now. He pushed the item closer to him. Here, take this. The moment you noticed the slight imbalance in my incantation, I knew you were someone extraordinary. Even so, I never expected you to also know about this item's existence. I, Marcelo, am truly grateful for the chance to work alongside you. Looking down at the item in his hands, Ho-Yan couldn't help but feel a jolt of shock. It looks so simple, but this thing is absolutely overpowered. He spoke up again. But we can't proceed with the research right now. As you pointed out, there's a discrepancy in my research. At the same time, the system screen has updated displaying the quest magic. Tower Science Fusion project with Marcelo is currently on hold. Please wait for Marcelo's summons when needed. This left Hoyol a bit disappointed. He would have to wait until the next quest. But he still spoke up calmly. I will wait until you have resolved the issue. Finally, a bitter smile appeared on Marcelo's face. Thank you for your patience. He silently thought to himself, Adventurer Lee Hoyol is an outstanding talent. If we work together, we might actually be able to change the current mage tower. Hoyol, on the other hand, was smugly thinking, why pass up free stuff? Sir Marcelo is the absolute best. The scene then shifts to the resort island where Gugang is still sitting comfortably enjoying a glass of orange juice as comments flood the stream. Where is Lee Hoyol? Where is my Hoyol? Is this the first time Hoyol is streaming? Seeing that he smiled and replied, Hello, I'm actually waiting for Hoyol right in front of the gate to Yusra Island. There are lots of players heading through the gate. I'm sure Hoyol will show up soon too. But other comments keep flooding in. Just watching a gate on stream is getting so boring. Hoyol has already arrived. Show us the other players too. Is Gugang asleep? Reading these comments made him completely flustered. Don't you guys know the main character always arrives at the last minute? I'll wait for Hoyol until the very end and stay loyal to him. But the chat exploded again. But Gugang, I'm going to sleep. You go ahead and wait. Hearing that name, Kinver walked over in surprise and asked, Lee Hoyol. Just looking at his face made everyone extremely annoyed. Is that Supernova Kinver? How dare you barge into Hoyol's fan space? Get lost, Kinver, you trash. I'm actually watching Kinver's stream right now. Kinver is the best. He's just a classless jerk. Reading these comments made him absolutely furious. Lee Hoyol, that bastard, doesn't he get tired of causing scandals everywhere? Gugang silently thought to himself, supernovas. Ever since Arcana became reality, these individuals have emerged as a prominent new phenomenon. They are the type who will do whatever it takes to achieve their goals. Especially Kinver, rumor has it he is exceptionally brutal. Meanwhile, breaking news kept playing on the screen, suspicious disappearance in the rift. Involving a group of adventurers and a supernova, a series of missing players but not enough evidence. This sent a shiver down Gugang's spine. They said the number of players who entered the rift and then went missing or were killed is quite significant. But why is this guy interested in Lee Hoyol? Seeing Gugang spaced out, he suddenly called out, Hey! This startled Gugang. Yes. Kinver's face twisted in rage as he said, Tell Lee Hoyol that being too famous isn't going to end well for him. I'll be watching the stream from now on. Hearing this, the chat immediately blew up. How dare he say that on stream? Gugang, bite that guy. But can Lee Hoyol really clear Yusra Island all by himself? No way right could Kinver do it too. I wonder what would happen if Lee Hoyol actually showed up here. Are those supernovas ganging up to attack him? Maybe that's why he didn't come to Yusra Island. This comment made Gugang instantly freeze in confusion. What kind of nonsense is that? Other comments flooded the chat. What the hell are you saying? Make a video about this. What if he's actually right? He sighed, gesturing toward the camera. Are you trying to say Hoyol didn't come here because he's scared? Unbelievable, that's just pure lies. Comments kept pouring in. Yesterday, Hoyol appeared in my dream and said he was going to beat up Kinver. A supernova is basically a dying star, right? Our Hoyol is a big bang. And with that, Gugang jumped to his feet and yelled, Hoyol doesn't care about any of this. Don't you guys know that's why he doesn't advertise or stream? That's why. The chat immediately cheered. As expected of Hoyol, long live Hoyol. Gugang continued to shout, When the time comes, I'm sure he'll show up. I believe in Hoyol, yes, sometime after that. Hoyol was still calmly holding his teacup. Is there any reason to go there? Hoyol lay back comfortably on the floor and shook his head. Not at all. He felt perfectly content with his current life. The terrifying Asura Islands? Sounds tempting. But I can't even enter the rift because the minimum level requirement is 350, and I'm only level 134. More importantly, the only thing I can defeat is demon nobles. But there aren't any demons there at all, only different monsters like golden sand scorpions level 390 and Bamsa Oki Osaites. Golden sand venomous snakes level 400, giant gem-collecting bats level 400, and flying saber-toothed tigers level 420. This left him a bit speechless. Just look at their levels, how hideous. If I go there, if there's even a single demon, I'll probably die the moment I set foot there. But I guess I could at least try right now. Just then, a system notification suddenly popped up, Class Quest Origin. Part the veil and let the lighthouse shine. The last demon hunter shall illuminate a world shrouded in evil. Temper your weakened body. Repeat. Investigate the great evil on the Asura Islands. The sudden arrival of this series of quests left Hoyol frozen in shock. The 7 deadly sins. The 7 greatest sins of humanity: pride, sloth, gluttony, envy, wrath, lust, and greed. Remembering these, Hoyol thought in astonishment. The ones representing the 7 greatest sins are also known as the great evils. Isn't it incredibly strange that I learned about that back in ActionToon? And now there's a great evil on the Asura Islands. Investigating one of the 7 deadly sins of humanity. Defeating Count Asura was almost entirely pure luck. Will I really be okay this time? Regardless of whether it's a class quest or not, it's best to think before acting. But right at that moment, Hoyol's mouth suddenly opened. Before there was no reason to go. But now there is no reason to hesitate. If a great evil resides there, it must be vanquished. That is all. Seeing this, Hoyol thought in despair. Wait, Granfell. Before he could even react, his Granfell persona had already stood up. We must depart immediately. Hoyol desperately tried to stop him. But Asura Island is a tropical island. Do you even realize you're wearing heavy winter clothes? The beach here was absolutely breathtaking. Seeing the scenery got Park Huikang incredibly excited. As expected, he arrived in the blink of an eye. He truly is a gentleman of his word. At the same time Lee Hoyol set foot on the Asura Islands, although he was crying in despair on the inside, "Damn, it's so hot," he suddenly realized something wasn't right. His expression instantly turned serious, and Hoyol stood frozen in place. He sensed a bizarre presence lurking on the island. It felt incredibly dangerous. Just then, the system issued another warning, skill natural enemy activated. He wondered in confusion, what is this bizarre power? It's on a completely different level. No, compared to ordinary demons, I can feel a massive dark aura right beneath my feet. Could this island itself be a demon? If so, then my natural enemy skill will be constantly active, right? Granfell's persona let out a chilling smirk. How foolish of you to hide beneath my feet, demon! Seeing this, Hoyol smugly thought, nice, my mouth is practically watering. Sometime later, Huikang followed closely live-streaming Hoyol. As you can see, our Hoyol has finally entered the jungle of Asura Island. The chat immediately flooded with comments. Is he seriously wearing a suit today too? No matter how hot or cold it is, he always wears the exact same outfit. It's not just a concept. Rumor has it his white hair isn't dyed, it's actually real. In Huikang's eyes, Hoyol looked like a literal god. He is moving so cautiously. I wonder if there's a hidden dungeon or if he has a strategy to deal with the monsters on Asura Island. Though Hoyol looked incredibly badass and composed on the outside, his inner thoughts were filled with anxiety. At first I was so pumped, but now I'm actually a bit terrified. So right now I'm just looking for an easy target to hunt. Maybe a level 390 gold sand scorpion seems like a reasonable choice. But then Hoyol sank into despair. I got completely fooled by the appearance of this Satson Island. It looks just like a resort, so I completely forgot about the high-level monsters. However, his Granfell persona remained incredibly cold and detached. They are merely slightly stronger opponents. Watching his every move, Huikang became incredibly excited. That's it. Let me just say this first. I'm only filming Hoyol as long as it doesn't cause him any trouble. If he looks uncomfortable at all, I'll stop immediately. Hearing this, the viewers nodded in agreement. That's right. Just don't get caught. If Hoyol suddenly gets pissed, you know what will happen. but he kept reassuring them. Don't worry, I'm practically invisible. Sometimes when I trigger a trap in a dungeon, it doesn't even go off. Suddenly, Hoyol sensed something was off. Surprised, he turned around. A strange sound echoed, leaving him confused about what was happening. Beside him, Huikang was also dazed. What was that sound? Suddenly, a player was sent flying backward, his body covered in wounds, and screamed, "It's the pack leader, that damn beast! We've strayed too far! Sniper, what the hell are you doing? Shoot it, hurry!" The sniper nearby immediately yelled back, "It's too shiny, I can't aim! The glare is blinding me!" The player cried out in frustration, "Damn it! There's nothing I can do." At that moment, the level 420 Emerald Tiger made its appearance. This sight caused the chat to instantly explode. What is that? An Emerald Tiger suddenly appeared, a level 420 monster. That roar alone. Just watching through the screen is insane. The player scrambled back to maintain a safe distance. I told you we couldn't handle this in a group. Just then, they noticed Hoyol's presence, and the expressions on their faces gradually shifted. Wait, is that Lee Hoyol? No way. It really is Lee Hoyol. Why is he here? On his end, Lee Hoyol thought in despair, I'd really like to know too. I seriously thought I was just hunting a scorpion. But out of nowhere, it throws an Emerald Tiger at me, the highest tier monster on this entire island. It's only 10 levels below Count Asura. There's no way I can run away now. Suddenly, Lee Hoyol spoke up. The situation is not good. The dazzling sunlight reflecting off its glossy body was blurring his vision, and his expression grew increasingly serious. Reaching his hand forward, stone walls continuously erupted from the ground, blasting the Emerald Tiger backward. He then turned to order the two players. If we can bind it in place and stop it from moving, its trick will be useless. Those words left both players completely dumbfounded. What kind of magic is that? Meanwhile, Lee Hoyol conjured a flame in his hand and slowly brought it forward, thinking, I should try this skill out. After concentrating for a moment, he suddenly muttered, Fireball. A massive blaze instantly exploded in the air. Even Huigang, who was live streaming, was caught in the shockwave of the fire. Watching everything spiral into chaos left everyone utterly bewildered. What on earth is going on? Comments continuously popped up in the chat. What is that? Why does that fire look so weird? And they said he was just an alchemist. He really is a noble, after all. At the same time, Lee Hoyol received a system notification. You have successfully assisted in defeating the Emerald Tiger. Your level has increased. This message left Lee Hoyol thinking to himself, wait, did I actually hunt this thing? Marcelo's fireball spell is truly insane, and that 10% mana recovery decal is completely broken too. The scene they just witnessed left the two players completely speechless. How is this possible? He defeated a level 420 Emerald Tiger with a single blow. The scene shifts to another part of the primeval forest. This man is the guildmaster of the Second Sun Guild. Ranked 3rd overall on the player leaderboard, Shreg crashed painfully into the surrounding trees. Damn it, we've been here for hours. If we back out now, what was the point of all this? The members of the Second Sun Guild immediately froze in their tracks. One of the men hurried forward and voiced his thoughts. Guildmaster, I think we should regroup all the split parties. Word is that the Shining Guild is about to reach the center of the island with just a single party. Meanwhile, our split groups keep running into powerful monsters one after another, so we aren't getting anything done. Thinking about this made Shreg incredibly weary. I know, he muttered, gazing into the vast space ahead while secretly questioning himself. Was it a mistake to split up? To prevent the Berserker Guild from claiming the achievement of being the first to clear the rifts on this island, I plan to monopolize as many achievements and spoils as possible. Did I underestimate the monsters of Yusra Island? Frustrated, he cursed aloud. Damn it! I hate to admit it. But as expected, we really should regroup right now. A guild member rushed forward to report, Guildmaster, I received a call from the team headed west. Perhaps you should hear this, an orange-haired player urgently called out to Shreg. Seeing this, Shreg sighed, holding his head as he explained, I was planning on calling you, but I couldn't. We are regrouping the entire guild. I'll make my way there. But the player suddenly spoke up. No, wait, don't leave us here. We've reached the end of this path already. This news was hard for him to believe. What do you mean, be more specific? Clutching his phone, he hurriedly explained, It's Lee Hoyol. He's here on our side. Lee Hoyol, he's actually here. The forest ahead is completely engulfed in a sea of fire. This news left Shreg utterly baffled. Lee Hoyol, what about him? Another subordinate rushed up to report, Sir Shreg, We have a report from the guild members who attended the Magic Round Table. Lee Ho-Yol accepted a quest from Chief Mage Marcello, and he is the first player to have his own laboratory at the top of the Magic Tower. This series of reports left Shreg utterly stunned. An NPC actually associating with a player like that? I thought it was just a media exaggeration, but maybe... Shreg quickly ordered, "Contact the analysis department, have them investigate Lee Ho-Yol in detail and report back to me. He might be far more dangerous than I thought." Meanwhile, Lee Ho-Yol was holding the unique grade unrefined crystal, the highest quality crafting material. Its effects can be confirmed during the crafting process. This made Lee Ho-Yol incredibly thrilled. A unique grade material item. Unbelievable. This is amazing. While Grandfel's cold personality walked in a different direction as if telling him to get a grip, Lee Ho-Yol didn't care at all and continued to laugh heartily. A unique grade material. Normally, only a few craftsmen can handle it, but if I tell the Magic Tower that this is part of our research... At that exact moment, he realized something was wrong. His face slowly grew serious. The atmosphere, it changed. Seeing this, Lee Ho-Yol felt a bit anxious. What is this? Is this Grandfel's intuition? Why am I suddenly getting goosebumps? A system notification popped up. Class quest initialized investigating the 7 deadly sins of the Yusra Islands is now underway. Suddenly, he felt utterly bewildered. How did my class quest window suddenly pop up in a place like this? A sudden earthquake left him completely bewildered. Up in the sky, birds were fleeing in droves as if desperately trying to escape while endless system notifications began flooding Duseora Island. Duseora has been tainted by greed. Collapse in progress. Everything happened so fast that Hoyon couldn't react in time, and even the other players were startled. An island collapse in progress. What is going on here? Is Duseora Island actually a rift? No, it's just a new area. This phenomenon is different from when a rift opens. So what's with this collapse in progress window? Just what on earth is happening? Even Hoyon realized something was wrong. He quickly reached out to confirm the system screen only to realize, has human greed and petty desires awakened you? Deep down, Hoyon was absolutely terrified. I have no desire to meet any bugs. I was doing just fine farming gems. The system notification was sent to everyone. Duseora Island has been tainted by greed. Collapse of the Duseora Archipelago's deadly sin is in progress. Hoyon was still deeply worried. He could only hope it hadn't fully awakened yet. As the story unfolded based on the information on the quest window, its identity was likely the demon of greed. A comment popped up asking, "Wait, what does collapse in progress mean?" Gan quickly chimed in, "Hold on a second, I'm Googling it right now." Other comments kept rolling in. "I heard the Sinning Guild already captured the island. They've captured it already. Any demon hunter in Oxon could easily notice this." Comments flooded the chat. "What kind of treasure did the Sinning Guild get, guys? Do you really think Sinning would ever reveal that? By the way, doesn't Duseora have 10 islands? If Sinning has only cleared 1 island, does that mean the collapse is happening in a different region? If it actually collapses, what's going to happen? It'll probably turn into a deserted island once the collapse is complete. The deadly sin will completely awaken." A system notification popped up, drawing Hoyon's attention once again. It displayed the class quest Birth at the Edge of the Veil and The Shining Lighthouse. The Last Demon Hunter. Light up the world shrouded in evil. Train your weakened body, repeat. Investigation of the deadly sin in the Duseora Archipelago is complete. Prevent the resurrection of the deadly sin of greed in progress. Protect the island's treasure from being tainted by greed in progress. Reading these notifications caught his attention. As I thought, at least we have to stop that monster. Not necessarily kill it, but a voice shouts from behind, "Hurry up! The Shining Guild has already completed the challenge on 1 island and taken the treasure. It's a real treasure. Only 9 islands left. If we hesitate, we won't get a single thing. We must get the treasure chest before this area collapses." Seeing this, Hoyle silently thought, yes, that is the natural reaction of greed. In this very moment, every player in the Yusra Islands has the exact same thought, the same greed. To keep the treasures from being defiled by greed, must I convince them to give up? Convincing all of them is simply impossible. Unending arguments break out around him. Get lost. Our guild got here first. Cut the crap, show us what you've got if you're so tough. Hoyle stood there constantly agonizing over what he should do. Just then, Granfel's persona suddenly spoke up. In the end, there is only one way. I will claim all the treasures here. His face became incredibly resolute, and those words made Hoyol instantly freeze. Are you serious? Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the second island in the Asura archipelago, an area gradually filling with demonic energy. This place was the Shining Guild's base where everyone was currently gathered. Right then, Dimitri suddenly spoke up. Camilla, what do you think of the island's collapse progress? She giggled and replied, Isn't it obvious there are 10 islands in the Asura archipelago, and this progress applies to all 10 of them? See, one bar is already filled. That bar filled up at the moment we secured the treasure here, so it seems like a countdown timer. Don't you think so, Rox? Hearing this, he nodded in agreement. But more importantly, have you guys heard Jesse's report about the Mage Tower and the adventurer yet? Hearing this, he turned around in surprise. A report about Lee Hoyle receiving a quest from the Mage Tower and going to its top. This made Camilla a bit surprised. Our dear Jessie. Her eyes sparkled whenever she talked about that Lee Hoyle. There's clearly something going on between those two. After that, they continued to discuss this matter. Hey, Camilla, get serious. Look at the current situation. I'm not sure if I should listen to a guy who tried to rent out an entire hotel only to get rejected. What? But Rox found it highly interesting. Speaking of Lee Hoyle, it seems he's becoming quite a threat to us. What do you guys think? If we were to face Lee Hoyle, would we be able to beat him? His words surprised everyone, making them turn around to discuss it. I'd like to test that myself. Rox, you're joking, right? Right now, just keeping Schlag in line is enough of a headache for me. But more importantly, Jessie won't let this slide. Are you trying to make Schlaggy look even more pathetic in her eyes? Dimitri quickly shook his head. Besides, he hasn't even interfered with our guild's interests yet. Hearing this, he found it quite interesting. Is that so? Just wait and see, all right? I only said that because I was a bit jealous of his achievements in the Mage Tower. For now, there's no need for us to be hostile toward him. Just then, another bar filled up, catching everyone's attention. The collapse progress increased again. Seeing this, Rox asked curiously, Damn it, where was it? Dimitri quickly reported, the world ruler. He's already claimed the treasure. Camilla added, looking forward to it. It seems he has officially made his move as well. At this, Rox immediately braced himself. At this rate, all the treasures will be taken. All right, let's hurry up and move to the next island. The scene shifts to another gloomy island. Hoyol's face was now filled with panic as he felt things becoming increasingly awkward. Grandfell, wait. What do you mean by claiming all the treasures? He kept marching forward. Literally, I will seize them all. This threw Hoyol into complete despair, but we already saw it. Once the collapse progress is complete, the great sin of greed will awaken. Don't tell me you're planning to awaken it by collecting all the treasures. This thought made him fall silent. Suddenly, his attention was drawn to a group of people standing right ahead. Hoyol quickly recognized them. With their lion-crested armor and flag, it was the Lionheart Knights. I never thought I'd meet the Empire's strongest knight order from Arcana here. Even with that face at that very moment, his Grandfell ego suddenly spoke up. Harkon Kingsguard, the commander of the Lionheart Knights, heard his name called. He suddenly fell silent while the knights behind him immediately lunged forward. Insolent fool, watch your manners! Harkon quickly raised his hand, stopping them from charging at the adventurer. May I be so bold as to ask your name? Lee Hoyol smiled proudly and placed his hand over his chest. I am Lee Hoyol. I never imagined I would encounter the Lionheart Knights in a place like this. A pleasure to meet you, sir. But deep down he was dying of embarrassment. Oh my God, the way they speak is driving me insane. Are we filming some historical court drama here? Hearing this, Harkon found himself strangely intrigued. You give off a completely different vibe compared to the other adventurers. Suddenly, Harkon's eyes widened as if he had realized something. The brooch pinned to his suit caught his attention and his face blanked in shock. That brooch! Suddenly, something was launched at them from behind. Fortunately, Hoyol was quick enough on his feet to dodge it. Everyone panicked and quickly cried out, A meteor, Commander, are you all right? What on earth is... Everyone's eyes widened to their absolute limits as a massive monster loomed before them. It was the island's guardian monster, the Golden Fang Giant Turtle level 450. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Harkon quickly barked an order, Everyone prepare for battle. His subordinate right beside him added, Damn it, this beast has the highest level in the entire island region. This is the Yusra region. Watch out, it's about to rain meteors. Everyone fall back to your positions, seeing the devastating power of the monster's attack. Everyone was left completely overwhelmed. This power is utterly destructive, Commander, we can't secure. Our line of sight because of these meteors, we can't even get close to the beast. At that moment, Harkon sensed something was wrong and yelled at the top of his lungs, "Enoch, get out of the way!" He lunged forward as fast as he could to protect him, but it was already too late. The giant beast slammed its massive foot onto the ground. It seemed the worst had truly happened, and Harkon couldn't believe his eyes. As Harkon gasped for breath, Ho-Yol in the nick of time used his earth magic to block the monster. His sudden action left everyone utterly dumbfounded. What on earth, that adventurer? Just raised an ice wall in an instant without chanting a single spell? Even Harkon was bewildered as he rushed over to support Enoch, asking, What kind of person are you?" Ho-Yol explained in a serious tone, "We are not in a position to have a leisurely chat, sir." Snapping out of his daze at the reminder, Harkon realized the danger was far from over. Ho-Yol's move had thoroughly enraged the monster, causing it to let out a deafening roar. The escalating situation put everyone on edge. "More meteors are coming! Form a defensive line! Shield bearers cover our heads!" Meanwhile, Ho-Yol's heart felt like it was about to burst out of his chest. Damn it! To max out the wall's strength, I had to burn through a ridiculous amount of mana. If it weren't for this brooch, I probably would have died from mana exhaustion by now. Now I need to conserve my magic power as much as possible. I have to find a way to team up with the Lionheart Knights and take down this beast right now. Harkon slowly stepped up behind him. "Adventurer with the brooch of the Magic Tower, I offer you my deepest gratitude for saving me and my knights. If you assist us in this battle, the Lionheart Knights swear upon our hearts that we will never forget this favor." This made Ho-Yol's eyes light up. "If you want to jump on board, we're ready to carry you." His eyes filled with joy. "This is perfect." But his Granfell ego quickly replied, "Evil must be punished, if you require my assistance." "I am more than willing to accept." This high and mighty response left even himself speechless. "Ugh, this damn persona of mine." Meanwhile, Huigang stood completely frozen in place by the scene before him. He was actually still live streaming, capturing the entire sequence of events. This is absolutely insane. Did you guys see that? They literally swore a vow of the heart. Did you catch that, guys? The chat was blowing up. Whoa, the Lionheart Knight suddenly showed up. "Huigang, your nostrils are terrifying. Move the camera away." Wait, what is this? Did they just make a vow of the heart? Nah, that's just a greeting used in the Imperial Court. What are they doing in front of Ho-Yol, bro? Get closer. Go see what they're saying. Huigang replied to his viewers with a hint of worry. "Guys, it's hard to get any closer because of that giant guardian monster. If it's just watching the fight from afar, I can manage. So please understand. Okay?" Not wanting to waste any more time, Harkon suddenly roared at the top of his lungs, "Soldiers with the hearts of lions, charge!" At his command, everyone rushed toward the giant beast. Ho-Yol silently observed the battlefield. Its weak spots are the head and the back of its neck. Force its head down. Aim for the legs. The continuous shouting startled Enoch slightly, prompting him to glance over at Ho-Cham. "Yol, this adventurer. I'm so grateful he saved us from getting hurt by that monster, but I still don't understand why. Why did the commander have to use the Royal Heart Oath? It's a sacred pledge from the heart of the royal family. It makes absolutely no sense to make such a vow to just an ordinary traveler. Why would the commander do such a thing?" Meanwhile, on the other side, the battle between the giant monster and everyone else is still raging on. Everyone is pouring all their strength into the attack. "In the name of the Lionheart Knights, aim for its legs, bring it down. Hoyon." Seeing this scene, Hoyon was slightly startled. Is this really the strength of the Night Order? His eyes widened in disbelief. They were far weaker than he had imagined. It seemed their attacks did absolutely nothing to the giant turtle monster. What a bunch of tiny pests. The knights kept hacking away at its legs. "Keep pushing, everyone." The more Hoyon watched this, the more speechless he became. It wasn't because they were weak, but because they were simply no match for that monster. This Night Order is now directly engaged in battle with the monster. But given their strength, if I don't join the attack, even if their hits do some damage, at this rate, when will we ever bring this monster down? Suddenly, a system notification popped up, catching Hoyon's attention. Dusera Island has been corrupted by greed. Collapse progress has reached 5 bars. This startled Hoyon. It was already halfway there. Others are finding treasure chests faster than I thought. At this rate, everyone will be arriving at this island soon. I have to find a way to create an opening for the knights to strike. Just then, the turtle monster went completely wild, letting out a frenzied roar. This made Khan struggle to fight. "Watch out! It's an earthquake! Lava is bursting from the ground!" Screams echoed endlessly all around. "If you fall, you're a goner, everyone be careful." But there was simply no room to move. At that moment, Hoyon also sensed something was off. He suddenly recalled the scene when he met Cly. Hoyon's eyes lit up as if he had just figured something out. At that critical moment, he suddenly shouted, "Sir Hakon!" Startled to hear his name, Hakon gasped, "Keep attacking!" His words left everyone utterly confused. Hoyon thrust his hand forward. "I will clear the path." This time, everyone felt a sudden surge of power as they fought the giant monster before them. Inox watched on, utterly dazed in disbelief. "What on earth is this, standing aside?" Dugan held up his phone to live stream, his jaw dropping in disbelief. Comments flooded the screen. Is that noble magic? Even Hakon himself could barely believe what was happening before his eyes. These are magic steps. Hoyon had paved the way for everyone. Only then did they snap out of their shock. "I've seen this before. It's impossible. How could a regular traveler in this world be casting spells from the magic tower? Just who is this guy?" Though he tried to act fine, Hoyon was on the verge of collapsing. "My mana." "Hakon Kingsguard, what the hell are you doing?" "Get moving. Stop just standing there and staring." Not wanting to waste a single second, Hakon immediately set foot on the magic steps. Charging forward, he shouted to everyone, "He cleared a path for us, don't let this opportunity slip away." He drew closer and closer to the beast. Everyone had surrounded the turtle monster. "Quickly finish it off," raising his sword high. He struck down at the monster without a moment of hesitation. At the same time, another notification popped up. Hoyon was about to pass out from exhaustion. Reading the system messages, his face grew dead serious. The screen read, "Knight Commander Hakon Kingsguard rewards you for your contribution to defeating the golden-toothed giant turtle." He was still utterly confused when a new notification popped up. "Knight Enox, Lauren has rewarded you for your contribution to defeating the golden-toothed giant turtle." "Knight Jessica Border has rewarded you for your contribution to defeating the golden-toothed giant turtle. You have received the defeat rewards for the golden-toothed giant turtle. Automatically obtained 9 drops. Due to your major contribution to the defeat." Following that was a rapid succession of congratulations notifications as Hoyon leveled up, startling him. What on earth is happening? While he was still trying to make sense of it all, Hakon walked over to him. "That medal of yours is one of the treasures that the Emperor bestowed upon the magic tower a long, long time ago. We owe you our very lives." Before Hoyon could even react, everyone knelt on the ground. With a deeply solemn face, Hakon said, "The Lionheart Knights will continue to serve Hoyon." The master of this medal. A system notification popped up. "You have defeated the golden-toothed giant turtle with the highest contribution." A faint blue energy slowly coalesced in the air. Before anyone could realize what was happening, this reward materialized right in front of Hoyon. Only then did he snap out of his surprise. Could this be the island's treasure? What should I do? Should I take it? But if I take the treasure, the demon will wake up. Yet if I don't, someone else will snatch it away by any means. But if that's the case, what about the 7 deadly sins? While he was still hesitating, unsure of what to do, the system warning flashed once more. Ducera Island has been corrupted by greed. Collapse progress has increased by 1 bar. Hoyon was struck with panic. Oh no. Let's think about claiming the treasure for a second. But Granfel's persona had already reached out to take the gift. This action made Hoyol instantly freeze. He clutched his head in sheer despair, totally at a loss of what to do. "Hey, you lunatic! Think for a second, will you? This is giving me such a headache. Wake up, man. If we get greedy, we're dead meat." But Granfel's persona didn't seem to care about any of this. To Granfell Cloudy Arpheus Romeo, a true aristocrat wealth was nothing but fleeting vanity. A character born to inherit a massive fortune from a legendary family who had already tasted every sweet luxury that money could buy. Meanwhile, on Huikong's live stream, comments flooded the chat. What kind of magic is that? Isn't that the magics of a legendary archmage? He actually got the treasure. A vulgar feeling like greed simply didn't exist in a noble like him. He suddenly smiled and spoke, "There is a simple way to keep these treasures from being tainted by greed. You just need to rid yourself of that emotion." The system chimed in once more. "You have obtained the island's treasure." This unbelievable reality left Hoyeol completely stunned. Seriously, that actually worked. The scene shifts to another location. Deep inside the forest, Kinber was using his binoculars to watch from afar. Seeing Hoyol in his sights, Kinber burst into an amused laugh. "Lee Hoyol, I told those idiots to go and snatch the rest of the treasures." Behind him lay a crowd of injured players. Realizing what he had done, one of them yelled in fury, "Kinber, you coward second son, and Aegis won't just sit back and watch." Before the player could even finish his sentence, Kinber coldly finished him off, showing absolutely no remorse for his cruel deed. What a bunch of weaklings. A new system alert popped up. You have killed another player. Your karma level has increased. But he couldn't care less. Doing it this way is so much easier. Then another notification appeared. You have received 32 crystal fragments as loot. Witnessing the scene of the treasure acquisition from his screen, Huikong became incredibly hyped. He hurriedly adjusted his phone to capture the live stream. "Hey guys, do you see that Hoyol is claiming the treasure right now?" Even after he claimed the treasure, the collapse progress hasn't gone up a single bit. The viewers were stunned and comments started flooding in. "Wait, why isn't the collapse progress increasing? Who was the one saying my bro would get corrupted by greed? That's just ridiculous." Huikong continued to hype up his audience. "Everyone just look at his calm, guilt-free figure. He really doesn't have a single drop of greed in him." The viewers couldn't help but agree. Absolutely. He's like a beacon of hope. There's no way a man of his stature could ever be corrupt. Meanwhile, Hoyol was screaming internally. He stared in bewilderment at the item in his hand. Is this junk really the island's treasure? Just then, another system prompt popped up. Decaying crown, epic grade, an old crown. The brief description left him thoroughly disappointed. Seriously, the description is this short. What an absolute joke. And my greed is completely gone too. Don't tell me the rest of the treasures are all junk like this. While he was still lost in thought, a new alert flashed. The Lionheart Knights have joined your party. A long list of various names appeared on his screen, leaving him completely bewildered. Hoyol thought to himself, "Wait, what is this? Why did we suddenly form a party?" Harkon smiled and spoke. "Didn't I already tell you, Sir Hoyol? We will follow you, Sir Hoyol. We, the Knights of Lionheart, will continue to support Lee Hoyol, the owner of the crest." Hearing these words, Hoyol could hardly believe his ears. Is that really what he meant? I thought he just meant they wouldn't attack us if we crossed paths in the future. Harkon smiled warmly and continued. "You are our savior, Sir Hoyol. Furthermore, you have shown us your noble character by claiming the treasure without letting greed consume you. No matter what your ultimate goal may be, we will gladly become your sword and shield. At least as long as we are here in the Asura archipelago." This sudden pledge of loyalty left Hoyol completely speechless. No way. This is unreal. Even in the Asura archipelago, the Empire's strongest knights are going to follow me. Not to mention our level gap is huge. Hunting monsters is going to be a breeze now. He immediately set his sights on the remaining monsters like the venomous snakes and the giant sand beasts. Collecting those crystals was going to be effortless. Without wasting any time, Hoyol quickly suggested, "Then we should make our way to the next island right away." The scene shifts to another island. The atmosphere there was suffocatingly eerie, and someone was already waiting silently in the shadows. As the group approached, his teammate's voice suddenly called out, "Hey Kinber, I heard that Lee Hoyol guy already got the treasure." But why hasn't the collapse progress changed at all? It makes no sense. He definitely took the treasure. I also heard he's traveling with Harkon and his men. Are you sure you can handle those Lionheart Knights? But Kinber didn't seem the least bit concerned. Are you getting cold feet? His teammate quickly shot back. What scared hell no. I'm just being cautious. They aren't brainless like the second son fools. Kinber coldly snapped, "Shut up. If you're chicken, then beat it. I've already left a little present for them on their ship anyway." The moment they step onto the boat to the next island, all I have to do is snap my fingers. The hydra poison will spread all over that boat. Whether it's Hakon or Ho-Eon, if they're poisoned, they're dead meat. And if I can kill that guy and search him, I'll know right away if he grabbed the treasure or not. While Kinver was still gloating, something flashed past his head. Feeling a sudden wave of terror, Kinver hurriedly clutched his neck, feeling as if his head had just been severed. No, that can't be. Was it an illusion? Did he actually notice me at that exact moment? Moreover, this overwhelming, terrifying aura. Consumed by terror, Kinver immediately transformed into a docile little squirrel. This piqued Ho-Yaon's interest. So cute. It really looks like a squirrel. While he was still amused by his own thoughts, Hakon beside him suddenly spoke up. You noticed too, didn't you? Lee Ho-Yaon, that little rat on the tree. What do you think about it? The system continuously flashed notifications. Hakon Kingsguard is observing you. Your mental strength is critically low. You have fallen into an abnormal state of panic. Looking toward Kinver Ho-yeon's face suddenly became unusually calm. To him, it was just an incredibly cute little squirrel. He nervously glanced at Hakon, thinking, what does he hate squirrels? Why does he look so terrifying? At the same time, Guy Fale's persona slowly spoke up. Right then, a system notification popped up and caught his attention. It was a warning. The island of the Duseora region is being corrupted by greed. Collapse progress 8 bars. He couldn't believe his eyes. It had already reached 8 out of 10. Forget about that crown of authority from earlier. There is only one treasure left. Forget about the squirrel. We need to hurry. Ho-yeon suddenly spoke up. Why are you letting a couple of petty rats get on your nerves, sir? The good news is we stopped the great sin from awakening, so the collapse progress won't go up any further. Let's move quick! Seeing Ho-yeon's completely indifferent face pleased Hakon even more. As you wish. Meanwhile, the scene shifts and a teammate's voice calls out, Kinver! Hey, do you hear me? His whole body was trembling with fear. Seeing that he still wasn't responding, his teammate called out again, Kinver Cat got your tongue all of a sudden. He was in no state of mind to care about anything else. His thoughts racing. I'm alive. He spared my life. That guy Ho-yeon. Why did he show me mercy? Or was it because I'm just a nobody not even worth his time? Whatever the reason, thank you for giving me a way out. Tears began to stream down Kinver's face. I'm leaving this place. His teammate looked at him in utter confusion. What the hell are you muttering about? Speak up. Ignoring his teammates entirely, he warned them, if you guys want to live, don't ever cross Ho-yeon. His teammates kept shouting after him. Kinver, damn it, what the hell is wrong with him? Seeing him so furious left his teammates utterly baffled. What's wrong, Baek Hyunjun? He spat out in a rage. That bastard dared to hang up on me, damn it! Do you have any idea how much I invested in this operation? Kinver, that bastard said the only way was to use the Hydra poison. I even had to go and get a loan from some loan sharks just to buy that damn poison. His teammate quickly stepped in to calm him down. Baek Hyunjun, please calm down. Driven absolutely mad by the situation, he snapped, Calm down my ass, it's easy for you to say, you bastard. You didn't have to spend a single dime of your own money, damn it, I can't take this anymore. Another teammate stepped in to stop him. Baek Hyunjun, stop it. Why are you acting so hot-headed? You're never like this. The more he dealt with these people, the crazier Hyunjun felt. Hot-headed, cut the crap. How the hell can you idiots stay so calm? Wait, don't tell me you guys teamed up with that bastard. How much did you guys get from him? His teammates were taken aback. What is wrong with you all of a sudden? What the hell are you talking about, you psycho? Calm down first, then we'll talk. He had completely lost his mind, screaming, What are they planning to do with my money? Meanwhile, the scene shifts. Ho-yeon noticed something was off. Seeing this, Hakon asked with surprise and concern, Ho-yeon, is something wrong? With suspicion creeping into his eyes, he replied, It's nothing, while silently wondering, What is this? It was a notification for the activation of the natural enemy skill, just like the one he received when he first set foot on the island. Warning messages kept flashing. The presence of the great sin is spreading. The natural enemy skill has been activated. Ho-yeon couldn't hide his surprise, but for some reason this time felt slightly different. It was as if the instincts of a demon hunter were warning him. It's close by. Ho-yeon's gaze instantly turned serious. On the other side, Hyunjun lunged to attack his own teammate, who could only watch in utter shock. In utter despair, he stammered, Pete, Park Hyunjun! You bastard, I knew you loved money, but to go this far? With eyes that no longer cared about anything around him, he muttered, What the hell are you babbling about? A system notification popped up. You have killed another player. You guys are the ones who conspired against me in secret. Isn't that right? All of his teammates were wiped out, and he received 62 pieces of the golden fruit as loot. Yet even as he saw them lying dead, Hyunjun still wouldn't let it go, muttering, It's all your fault. Meanwhile, Gugang accidentally streamed the whole thing, causing the chat to explode. Holy shit, they're killing each other. A supernova has appeared. Are we seriously allowed to broadcast this? Gugang, don't even breathe or you'll die. Hearing some strange noises, he slowly glanced behind him. I'm only taking back what you guys stole from me. He seemed to have completely turned into a demon. Realizing things were going south, Gugang bolted forward, his face pale with sheer terror. This is a massacre. That supernova guy is out of his mind, so the rumors about those people killing others in the rifts are true. Does he still think he's in the right? The comments kept rolling in. I'm getting dizzy. You're sick, man. Is that really important right now? I was gone for a second. What's with the vibe here? Did Hyunjun just kill someone? But Gugong didn't have time to pay attention to any of this as his mind raced. If I get caught, he'll definitely kill me. I need to get out of here as fast as possible. But his foot caught on a tree root, sending him flying forward, his face filled with dread. Am I a goner? Just then a man caught him in the nick of time. Are you all right? Are monsters chasing you? Gugong gasped in surprise. The Explorers Association. The chat lit up. Look, those are explorers. They're NPCs. Awesome, just stick with them. But wait, they don't have any combat abilities, right? True, but their influence is absolutely massive. With a bright, sunny smile, the man offered, You look absolutely exhausted. Why don't you sit down and rest for a bit? Gugong quietly pondered. Even if he killed his teammates for money, he wouldn't dare make an enemy out of the entire association. Not if he wants to keep playing Arcana. Gugong tried his best to calm down. Yes, thank you so much. He comforted himself. It's going to be okay. I survived. The scene shifted elsewhere, where drones were constantly monitoring the area. A reporter was still broadcasting, This is Today Arcana. We are currently at the final island of the Jusura Archipelago. The Jusura Archipelago is divided into 10 islands with a hidden treasure waiting on each and every one of them. There are many ways to claim these treasures, such as hunting down the island's guardian monsters known as the Island Lords, solving hidden riddles across the area, and much more. For instance, the Shining Guild secured a treasure alongside the Explorers Association, while various other guilds and alliances have claimed their prizes in unique ways. And now we are at the very last island with the final treasure. Countless players and guilds have gathered here. Speaking of which, the Shining Guild has just arrived. Camilla smiled and spoke up. Our guild leader is quite greedy, aren't they? Lars calmly explained, It's all for the guild's sake. The reporter continued, They've already secured 2 treasures in the west, haven't they? Even from here, I can feel the sheer majesty of the #1 guild. But the pride of South Korea is also here, correct? Word is that the Gaon Guild grabbed the treasure on the eastern island, right? Cheonmin asked anxiously. Are you all right, Taemin? Don't wander off too far. Just grab the good stuff and get back. He laughed and replied, Don't worry, bro. It seemed more and more people were gathering. Right next to them was the Inazuma Guild. Rumor has it they came from the same island as the Gaon Guild. But Gon was the one who actually got the treasure. Hisagi's face twisted in annoyance. Seeing his rival's smug look, his teammate quickly comforted him. We'll get our chance, Hisagi. Perhaps that's why the guild leader of Inazuma, Hisagi Kazuma, looked so disgruntled. The Zybor Berserkers and Sikensun had also shown up. Belle Lucy screamed in anger, Let me down this instant! I'll kill those bastards! The pink-haired girl quickly held him back. No, you don't. We're letting them slide just this once, okay? Got that? Now put those swords down. Scragg sighed dismissively. Still as hot-tempered as ever. This only fueled the reporter's excitement. Who will claim the island's treasure? Please stay tuned to Today Arcana. Wait, what is that? Suddenly his eyes locked onto something. And he wasn't the only one. Everyone stood there in a daze. There's no way they... Lars, look over there. I see them. The members of the Lionheart Guild slowly made their entrance. Watching the figures approach, the reporter could hardly believe his eyes. It's the Lionheart Knights. Oh my God, what an absolute plot twist. The strongest knights of the Empire have finally arrived. Even Schrage found it hard to believe. It was simply unbelievable. The reporters quickly showered him with endless praise. Rumor has it that the level of the captain of the Harkon Kingsguard is terrifyingly high, reaching level 600. They realized something wasn't right. Hey, tell me I'm not seeing things right. Even Bellucci was holding her head in confusion. Has he gone completely mad? Damn it, that's just cheating. The reporters continued to broadcast, and the one leading the knights was none other than... A familiar silhouette of Hoyol appeared right before everyone's eyes. Lee Hoyol. As soon as that name was uttered, all eyes turned to him. Standing at the center of attention, he seemed incredibly determined. Everyone could see the confidence in his eyes, as if he was absolutely certain he would seize the island's treasure. In reality, Hoyol was actually feeling completely exhausted inside. Man, I'm so tired. I thought I wouldn't get much attention, but I didn't expect them to glare at me like this. The reporters showered him with endless praise. Hoyol has appeared alongside the captain of the Kingsguard Harkon, who is level 600. He is standing proudly right in front of the major guilds. Suddenly, he felt completely exhausted. This is seriously terrifying. Meanwhile, the members of the Inazuma Guild also asked Hisagi in surprise, That Korean guy, Is he the one we met in the Count's territory? What the hell is that monster doing here? Although extremely annoyed, he still warned them, we need to be careful. We shouldn't show any hostility toward him right now. Marlia, watching the whole scene unfold from the side, also found it incredibly intriguing. Let me make one thing clear. No matter what happens, I am not picking a fight with Lee Ho-yeol. I only have one life, you know. Under everyone's gaze, he was actually screaming inside. Stop drawing attention to me. Don't these people have anything better to do? Stop looking at me. Realizing something was off, Harkon immediately turned around and shouted, Lord Ho-yeol! He too had noticed something was wrong just as cracks suddenly ripped through the ground. Along with it, boiling lava began to surge upward. Everything happened too quickly for Taemin to react. What is this lava is bursting from the ground? Watch out. Everyone fall back. Switch to fire-resistant gear and boost your fire resistance. Run if you want to live. Watching this entire scene unfold made Screg incredibly frustrated, but there was nothing he could do. And finally, the giant lava carp. Level 420 appeared right before everyone's eyes. It was the lord of the island. The rising waves of lava forced Bellucci to struggle to defend herself. Damn it, it's hot as hell. The black-haired youth warned everyone in panic. It's too hard to get close. The entire area is covered in lava. Screg sighed and said, For now we can only watch and see. The scene quickly descended into absolute chaos. Report the damage. Anyone without proper fire-resistant gear, fallback tanks, and melee fighters. Switch all your gear to ranged weapons. Wait, this wall of lava is blocking all ranged attacks. Damn it, if no one can even get close, how are we supposed to defeat it? On the side, Chulman worriedly warned Taemin, don't overdo it. The reporters looking at the current situation were also startled and exclaimed, A carp! A giant lava carp has suddenly appeared. I can practically feel the terrifying heat right through Dizon's video. Blocked by the lake of lava, no one could easily get close to the monster. Harkon stepped forward with concern and asked, Lord Ho-yeol, are you all right? He nodded to reassure him, I'm fine. But Harkon's face remained incredibly solemn. That is a relief, but I do not know what to say. I confidently declared that I would become, and your sword yet I cannot even get close to it. Listening to those words, he suddenly let out a strange smile. Before Harkon could understand what was happening, Ho-yeol spoke up. There is no need to worry, Lord Harkon. I didn't bring this all the way here just for show. Seeing Ho-yeol's actions made Lot startle in surprise. He stared in bewilderment, thinking he surely couldn't have misread him. Did that guy just smirk in this ridiculous situation? Why? His eyes widened in disbelief. What on earth do you have, Lee Ho-yeol? Meanwhile, Ho-yeol was calmly analyzing the manifestation of magic. It can be divided into 3 stages: exploration, intervention, and manifestation. His face remained perfectly calm as he slowly extended his hand. The lava surrounding the carp is not a skill. It is merely a part of its natural habitat. In other words, to Granfell, that natural lava, Ho-yeol's actions caught everyone's attention. Is that Lee Ho-yeol? No way. Is completely neutralized. To Ho-yeol, it is no different from pebbles on the side of the road. The scene gradually fell into chaos as the lava began to float into the air. The reporters broadcasting the event were also left completely jaw-dropped. Chulman couldn't believe his eyes. It was so surreal that Lot was completely frozen in shock. My God, what kind of monster is this guy? Though he appeared confident on the outside, Ho-yeol was actually screaming in despair inside. Harkon, what are you just standing there for? Attack quick. Dizon captured the scene on camera. The lava was blasted into the air. What on earth is going on? The erupting lava. It was an unbelievable sight. The path to the island was finally open. Looking at this, Harkon was extremely thrilled and burst into a hearty laugh. Without a moment of hesitation, he gripped his sword and charged forward. I have no choice but to live up to the magic you've displayed. Lot was also startled when he saw this. Damn it, that moment just now. I feel completely out of it. He turned back and ordered an attack on the cleared path, and the Shining Guild went on the offensive. Cheonmin's voice rang out, reminding Taemin that even with fighter jet support and Hakon by their side, it would still be hard to defeat that giant carp. No matter what, we have to strike them down with our very first attack. Hearing this, he nodded in clear understanding. In the next second, his eyes shifted. Right before him, the fish slowly floated up into the air, freezing everyone in their tracks. What's happening? It's jumping. Of course, nobody understood what was going on. Just like that, the fish crashed hard onto the ground below, sending a thick, blinding cloud of dust and smoke billowing into the air. Belle Lucy quickly screamed out a warning. "This lava giant carp is terrifying! Watch out, it's going to jump and attack again!" The reporter's voice rang out. "The monster is attacking wildly. Getting close to it this time won't be easy at all. This is turning into a long, grueling battle." Right then, a volley of incoming arrows caught Lot completely off guard. Thousands of decisive strikes slashed straight into the monster's body, a sight that made him chuckle in disbelief. What on earth is that lava turning into stone? Seeing this, Screg quickly turned around and spoke up. "It changed its property." Belle Lucy still didn't understand. "What?" Screg suddenly turned to look at Hoyol and voiced his thoughts. Just like water freezing into ice, the lava rapidly cooled and turned into stone. But to create petrified lava like this is completely unthinkable. Due to the limits of mana and magic proficiency, a large-scale transformation like this right at the volcanic crater should be impossible. Hoyol suddenly called out. Hearing his command, Harkon quickly charged forward and delivered a decisive, powerful slash right across the giant monster's body. A notification popped up. The lava giant carp has been defeated. Everyone received the message. Seeing this, Lot stood up with a smirk, thinking, "The Shining Guild is ranked #1, yet our contribution is 0. This is insane. Let's just head back." Meanwhile, the reporters who caught wind of this news were ecstatic. "Wait! We've defeated the lava giant carp, the master of the island. The top contributor is Lee Ho. Yul and the Lionheart Knights. This is unbelievable. That guy with the funny expression. How could he defeat the boss lava giant carp here? So easily." Hoyol's entire body was trembling, but he tried his best to stay composed. Just as his mana began to recover, a reward window appeared before him. "You have received a reward. For your outstanding contribution," the reporter continued to broadcast the entire event. "That's the island's treasure. According to earlier reports, player Lee Hoyol has already claimed another island treasure." His eyes immediately grew pensive. This must be the final island treasure. The reporters anxiously watched Hoyol's every move. Everyone nearby quickly gathered to take a look. "What's wrong? Why is there no reaction? Isn't that the island's treasure?" A strange light flared up, freezing everyone in place. Then a system warning for the archipelago popped up. "The Yuzra archipelago has been defiled by human greed. Self-destruction process in progress." This left everyone stunned, turning to look at each other. What? Something's wrong? Wait, wasn't there still 1 bar left on the progress gauge? No. From the very beginning, the number of missing treasures didn't add up. Could there be another treasure hidden somewhere else? Even Hoyol hadn't expected this to happen. "This is impossible! There's no way I could feel greed for this treasure. The treasures I collected earlier didn't affect the self-destruction progress, so why is such a powerful demonic energy suddenly erupting all over the island now? Another island treasure must have been defiled by greed." Meanwhile, on the other side, Dugan and the other NPCs were terrified. Hyunjun had completely lost his mind to greed. Then a system warning appeared. A player has been killed. Along with the island's treasure, 14 pieces of loot were acquired. This enraged the NPCs. "That bastard killed Julie." His comrade quickly tried to hold him back, shouting, "Be careful." Hyunjun's eyes gradually turned bloodshot. Oblivious to his surroundings, a strange transformation suddenly overtook his body. He could no longer see his surroundings clearly. "Damn it. What's happening to me? My head feels like it's going to explode. I didn't see this coming." A demon suddenly materialized right in front of Hyunjun. "What did you say?" A system warning flashed. "You are being possessed." The demon slowly tightened its grip on his body. "Do you want me to let you go? How about I grant your wish? Mental strength has dropped too low. To you weaklings, I shall grant you exactly what you desire." Witnessing this scene, everyone was paralyzed with fear. The demon opened its jaws wide, preparing to consume Hyunjun. "Now it's your turn to help me." Just then, a swift figure dashed forward, stopping right in front of the beautiful sword-wielding woman who slashed directly at the demon. This sight instantly froze Gukgang in his tracks. She turned to look at him. "Hey, are you okay?" Seeing the familiar uniform made him recognize the Lionheart Knights. A glimmer of hope returned to his eyes. If that's the case? "It can't be!" Hoyon's familiar footsteps echoed. The suffocating atmosphere of this place only grew more unbearable. His mind was already shaken by the demon, but now seeing his idol right before his eyes, Gukgang could hardly believe it. Lord Lee Hoyon. He couldn't let himself appear weak. Quickly wiping away his tears, he gripped his phone tightly. Preparing to go live, he said, "You all have been waiting a long time, right? My live stream starts right now." But at that moment, Hoyan realized something was wrong. The blurry figure in front of her threw the black-haired beauty into utter confusion. "You're still alive, you bastard!" Suddenly, the system screen popped up. Quest updated. Hoyan gasped in shock. "Wait, that's..." The demon's presence completely erupted in this place. The villain of the Duzera archipelago? Hoyan was utterly confused. A villain? Why all of a sudden? But Hakon seemed to realize something. That was the island's treasure, and the demon looked as though it was guarding it. Suddenly, the artifact shattered into pieces and a system warning blared. The island's treasure has begun to be defiled by greed. Realizing the situation was growing dire, Hoyan cried out in despair, "No!" Then the screen flashed with an updated quest. Prevent the resurrection of the 7 deadly sins greed. In progress. Preventing the island's treasure from being defiled by greed. Paused. At that moment, the entire area was bathed in a deep crimson, initiating self-destruction sequence. As the system warnings blared, everyone froze in sheer terror. The pink-haired girl quickly and anxiously pulled Belle Lucy back. "Sis, look at that hand." A terrifying sight unfolded right before everyone's eyes. The sight struck absolute terror into everyone there as the colossal hand swept through, ruthlessly destroying everything in its path. The area was rapidly turning into a disaster zone of brutal destruction. The poor souls still had no clue what was happening. What's going on? What's with this tremor? Even the broadcaster observing from high above was startled. Why, how could this be happening? The islands are merging into a single landmass. This is an unprecedented transformation. The new lands are fusing together, and there's something rising right in the center of the newly merged island. Hakan stood frozen, unable to believe his eyes. How is this even possible? A colossal castle had materialized right before them, leaving everyone in utter shock. The Golden City, a castle made of solid gold, has appeared in the center of the merged island. Is that actually real gold? An entire city of gold? Could that be the island's true treasure? Hoyan stared at it, thinking to himself, the Golden City? No, that's the Castle of Greed, the fortress where the demon of greed reigns. It radiates such a repulsive aura that I can't even stand to look at it. Suddenly the screen flashed. The Magic Class quest has been suspended. The system details displayed clearly on the screen. The curtain of darkness rises and the flames have begun to burn. The last demon hunter shall drag the evil out of the shadows. Investigate the dark secrets of the Duzera archipelago completed. Prevent the resurrection of the 7 deadly sins in progress. Protecting the island's treasure from being defiled by greed. Paused. Hoyan stared at the screen, still struggling to make sense of the information. The quest failed. Suddenly, Hakon rushed forward to warn everyone. "Something is coming! Get ready to fight!" The black-haired beauty yelled in panic, signaling, "Watch out under your feet!" Zombies. Countless monsters were clawing their way up from beneath